All right, all right, all right. So we got Kat obviously with us, and we got the infamous or famous Donish.
Hello.
Oh,
However
I
you
like
want
the
to.
dramatic intro though, Tex. I like that you chose the dramatic one
Oh,
for
had to,
very
had to.
fitting,
I
very
mean, the
fitting.
build up for this thing, and the amount of obviously hatred that we're receiving, Kat and I, just for even doing this is
Yeah.
awesome for me. I love the hate, so it don't bother me at all. How you doing,
Yeah.
Donish?
I'm doing all right. Yeah, I'm doing okay. It's fun to. It's not fun, as in like I don't want you guys to face hatred by anyone, but like it is kind of like comforting to see other people like experience a little bit of that. So you go like, I don't have to experience this alone. Like there are people who just you may have noticed hate me. Like
Mhm.
it's not even like a it's not even based on anything. There's one woman who said I'm definitely like a lizard person. And that started Pizzagate, and like
I saw that.
she is like she's married to that idea.
So
So
did you start Pizzagate before you joined TikTok or after?
well, obviously before. I mean, you can't start it while you're on TikTok. They're going to run with that. Uh,
So, Donish, like, how did you get started in TikTok?
I was doing comedy, and am I getting echo? I could turn myself down.
Yeah, a little bit.
Hold on. Sorry. Okay, is that better? Nope.
Hmm?
There. Nope. There. No.
I was
Okay.
gonna say I can't hear the echo.
Okay, you can't hear it? Good.
Mm-mm.
So the way I got started was doing basically like comedy, just doing anything that anyone else is doing, whatever's trending, just trying to figure it out. So I first actually got TikTok when I was driving across the U.S. I thought it would be a good like series to just film it and like stop in like a state and look, see what they have there. If you know what I mean, just like a little travel thing.
Mhm.
But I started making these videos and I started getting all these followers out of nowhere. And so I thought, oh well, this app is obviously like some broken app, that doesn't work and it gets you a bunch of spam bots. So I deleted my account. And then I created another account just to do like funny stuff. And I saw how like you get a following so easily. And then I was like, oh shit, I think those were real followers the first time I was doing it, where I just like gave up the whole thing. But yes, once the election came around, of course, everyone was more into like politics because it was a big one. And so then that's where I went towards. And then I did that up until after Biden got in. And then I kind of didn't know what to do because I started doing a couple videos criticizing Biden, which my audience didn't really respond well to. And I just kind of like felt like, okay, well, I don't know really my place on this app anymore. And then that's when I made one video calling someone out, and then it just started to snowball after that.
So, a lot of questions are happening. Obviously, you went from comedy to what I guess your reputation on TikTok is doxing.
That's what everyone who's watching this podcast knows me as.
Well, and that's why, because on our algorithm, it's just stitches from your videos, right?
Sure.
So it's partial things of your video. And then I think
Sure.
a lot of us, myself included, very guilty, was like, oh, well, this is somebody from, my party. So like, yeah, they probably are. And it was when I saw the swatting videos.
Mhm.
And I remember calling Tex and being like, I'm not trying to like go off, but I want to go off about this because I don't, and the whole doxing thing, like both sides do that. And I'm so sick of you doxed. We're literally all doing it. So what's wrong with you doing it as opposed to somebody doing it to you? And that was for me, like the moment that I started paying a little bit more attention. And I was wondering if, like, just for my own curiosity, like, are you allowed to talk about the swatting incident? Like, what kind of led into it the day of?
There's a lot I could talk about it, but when it comes to specifics of who I think it can be,
Right.
and what the investigation has led to so far, that I can't, just because I do want the person held accountable.
Mhm.
But with that, it was strange. See, when I first started doing, people will complain a lot. They'll go, "Oh, you put my personal information out there. How would you like it if someone did that to you?" And my response is usually, "That happens to me so often. I am on every dark web, Doxpin website. I'm on Kiwi Farms. You'll find me everywhere. There are people who track every single little move I make on Reddit, on everything. They post my my personal information. They post my one site has my mom's immigration papers just posted publicly. Like like literally, I will say I don't think anyone's been doxxed more than myself or Savannah. And they treat that as sort of like a punishment as to like, well, how do you like it? And I'm like, but do you notice nothing happens? Because I didn't do anything. Like I didn't do anything for people to be outraged about, to want to do anything with this information, unless of course someone specifically wanted to. So like it's hard to kind of show that and go like, hey, what you guys think I'm doing, you're doing to me, because no one wants to hear that. People don't really want to hear the different narrative that they're already analyzed, already formed their opinions on. So I think that this with Zach and everything, I wasn't going to get involved. I really was just watching. But the way that it was kind of snowballing, I kind of had to, especially since Zach's out here saying he doesn't dox. And I'm like sitting on this information. I'm like, well, it's good as time as any to let the cat out the bag and go like, this is doxing. What he's doing, this is the thing that you guys are worried about. This is malicious. This is done to like settle scores. This is done like the way he was explaining one of them. He said he was calling this person's work. She worked at a school, so she was calling a children's school and harassing the office to try to get her fired because she posted a video, talking shit on him. So she takes it down, and he said that she took it down and said, I'm not going to have anything else to do with you. Just please leave me alone. And he said in response, something called her, cunt. And he tells that story, and I don't know how he doesn't hear himself. Like, he's not the good guy in that story. He extorted her. He like, it's like holding your child off a bridge and being like, do this for me or I'm going to drop him. You go, there, that was even.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's that kind of like.
It's so serious. Like, even with the run-in that I had, there was issue I had with another conservative creator. Relationship fell out. We went back and forth online a little bit. Super cringe, embarrassing. Well, I wound up having to go to real court over it. And I was floored.
In another state.
Floored when I got this court summons. So I went. The orders stick for the rest of the year. The judge was just basically like, y'all are in a timeout until like the first of the year. Stop it. The story wound up getting very over dramatized, and it was said that, they tracked an IP address of me putting a bounty on a police officer's head, that I secretly work with Antifa. I secretly work with the left. And like, I do a lot of community stuff. You know what I mean? So that's not really the vibe I want going, that I'm putting bounties on cops' head. I don't think anybody wants that about them, regardless of. So I had messaged Jack. I reached out to a friend of mine who's friends with him too. So we had like a mutual. And I said, just throw us in like a group chat. We'll do a FaceTime in there on Instagram, and I'll work it out. Like, we can go back and forth on the app. We can keep doing this drama. But what you have up is really dangerous, and it's not true. And here is proof. Here are copies from the police department where they said that there's no records on me in their department. Here's another department. I didn't do this. So please take it down. This dude wanted to like negotiate with me. Well, if you make this video and you accept the apology, because there was a video that went out where someone told me to do something to myself from the bottom of their heart.
Or somebody do it for you. Yeah.
Oh,
basically they wanted her.
He would give them the address.
Yeah.
And unless I accepted that person's apology 24 hours later, he's done with me. And I got him to admit in group chat, like in text message, that if the other person didn't want the videos down, even though he knew it was a lie, he was going to leave them up, because fuck me.
Right.
And it's just kind of like, I get that you don't like me for whatever reason he doesn't like y'all. I mean, whatever the reason is. But like, we've kind of strayed away from politics a little bit. This isn't political anymore. This is just insanity to me. And then I think a lot of it had to do with the swatting video that I made. And that's kind of what like led up.
Wow.
Because when I made that, he lost his mind. I mean, he stitched me and was like, fuck you. And you need to sit the fuck down. And I was like, I didn't even say your name. Who are you? Like,
interesting.
And then I got bombarded with DMs, and it's not what you think it is, Kat, and it's not a group chat, and it's not this, and like, don't say this. And that's when I got, the other guy was like, no, we went to Modern Warriors Reservation. We're working on warrants for Aunt Karen. I got a PI on this. And I'm like, are you even listening to yourself? Like, why?
Yeah.
But why? And I think a lot of it now, like, I'm still new to it, so I don't want to make like a big, but I just kind of feel like they're just trying to cover up the Brian stuff. And if it walks like a duck and it talks like a duck, and now there is this group chat, and all the people who were swatted are over to the left with pull down tabs, it's dangerous. And he wants to say over there that this is dangerous. And what he doesn't realize is that what he is doing is insanely dangerous.
Yeah. And I've gone through like a lot of that Discord so far. There's a lot to go through. And I unfortunately just can't post a lot of it because it's just so much personal information. But also, like, I wish I could post some like the more sadistic kind of like you said don't say names. So I'll just say this guy that reminds me of Smee. He's not well. And that's what I think that the problem is there's a lot of people who are not well behind the wheel. And like in his head, he has this like he set up this like whole scenario for downfall for Danish, for Savannah, for Aunt Karen, and any moment now, and they're all going to be in legal trouble. And the amount of videos people make based off of that, then go, oh, how's that court case going? And I'm like, what on earth are you talking about?
Right. And have you been served with any legal paperwork from this person?
I even told I even said once, look, if you believe I've done something illegal, you have the video evidence. Turn me in. I mean, I should be held accountable like anybody else. Turn me in. And then I see someone make a video saying the reason he says that is because he knows that, like, you know, whatever, the media or CNN or something will save him. I'm like, no, it's because I know it's not illegal. That's why.
Right. But no, I mean, all of us would be in jail right now if any of this was illegal.
Right.
If any of it.
And the scary thing about it is how much of it, like, I think once when I was first starting to find people, that was the scariest thing, is how available all of our information is online.
Yeah.
That creeps me out. But knowing that, I know there's no way to get rid of it. I know, like, no matter what I pay for, no matter what I do to get like rid of stuff, it'll never be gone. It's impossible.
And is it worth it to you to stand strong in your convictions and your beliefs and all the rest of it? Like, is it worth it?
Yes, because if I don't, then when they want to silence somebody else who believes in, you know, what they're standing up for, they're going to get swatted too. So they would get silenced the same way. So I'm not going to set that precedent, and I'm not. And the thing is at this point, like, what else are you going to do? Once you get swatted, it really is like, well, what's next? You're going to come to my door? Most of the people who do like the accountability stuff are all armed. None of us are going to do this and not like and be like unarmed in our homes. Like, we're not dumb.
So Danish, the question I think a lot of people will end up having is, I guess, what makes you decide, one, that somebody needs to be held accountable?
Okay.
Like, what's your thought process on that? And then on the second half of that, like, what is your thought process on the information that you do decide to release to, I guess, essentially end up destroying somebody's life? It could end up being, you know, like the livelihood, jobs. And stuff.
I understand what you're. So I'll put a pin in the. I'm sorry I passed the swatting story and I didn't even talk about what happened. I'll put a pin in that. We'll come back to that. Yeah, we'll circle back.
Tell the story because I couldn't imagine it.
We'll
Jinsaki it.
Yeah. So let me go ahead and answer. Let me go ahead and answer this one though. So what actually happens is that my inbox on Instagram and Twitter is like overflowing with people just like, help me. This is happening at my school. Help. This is happening at my work. Help. This happened to me. Help. Identify this person in the video. They should be held accountable. So I get a lot of things that come into my inbox a lot, and I think that's like part of the reason why my account grows so fast, is because there's just a lot of people communicating with me, and they're tagging me and stuff. They're commenting on my videos, my lives, like, can you help me with this? Can you help with that? So
I thought it was bot followers. I mean,
so yeah,
when do I get my check for accepting the follow? A lot of us are wondering that now. Like, how much are we getting?
I wonder if people know, like, buying followers disqualifies you from like ever getting like a blue check mark or anything like that. No large creator would risk that. That is why we were deactivated, because we were like, shit, I don't want to get the consequences of this. And I tried writing to TikTok. It wasn't me. But I didn't understand the point of deactivating until someone else explained to me, actually. I guess that if someone makes a program and sending a bunch of bots towards you, and there's nothing to send it to, it gets an invalid response. So the program will stop after a while. Makes
I think
sense.
It's like 24 or 48 hours if you deactivate it or remove them.
And at this point, they're all gone anyway. So as I was saying, how I decide is not like, it's not it's not always like a decision that is consistent. I just see something where I go, I could help this person. But the thing is they're not always like a Republican or on the right, which is what I think most people assume. There have been, just as many times where the person I was going after was, on the left or Democrat. But if it's not relevant to the story, I usually don't bring it up.
Right.
But like I've had people go, like they'll see a story and go, yeah, typical Trumper, and I'll go, oh, he's a Democrat, just because like I want to be accurate. No, that's not accurate. But it's not relevant to whatever I'm working on, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
So to you, it's not political to you.
To me, now Savannah would say it's political to her. One of us,
but
I'm sorry.
Like it's a plus when it's one of us, but it doesn't have like you don't only.
I've said several times on my own page that I'm not a political page anymore, and that I don't like to politicize my work. There are others that do. I really don't like to. I saw a video of a guy slamming a child's face into his car, right? Like his face in the car. The reason he did it was because this kid ding dong ditched his house. So they were like I saw the video online, and once I kind of interact with it, I get people like this always happens, but someone will just reach out to me and go, "Hey, I live in that neighborhood. Hey, that video you just like interacted with, I know this person." So to verify that source, and then I find out like, yeah, they would really like to hold this person accountable. They don't know who it is. So I do the work and I looked into who it was. And before putting it out there, I confirmed with I said, do you know the family? They're like, yeah. I'm like, can you confirm with the family? Kind of like you do on a lineup. Is this the person that it was? Because we're going to turn them in. Then I reported him to authorities first. And then once I knew that was going to be handled, I made the video so that everyone knows this person has been identified. That's who it is. Now, at that point, yeah, if they have any social medias, they're probably going to get overrun with people wanting to make all this shitty comments and stuff. You'll survive that. That's not that happens to me so often that it's hard to sympathize with that specifically. Death threats, I never am okay with death threats. I've even told people who say, "Oh yes, you made a video about me. Now someone send me a death threat." I say, "Show me the username. I will identify them. We will hold them accountable." And 10 times out of 10, they never provide that.
That's fair.
See, I never even knew that you would.
I didn't know that either.
Like that.
Yeah. I've had that interaction before, and I've never get any sort of response. It's just that they want to say stop. I had one guy say, what was it? You got to leave him alone. This guy's really been thinking about hurting himself. He's a good kid. We'll make sure he's taken care of. And I said, you left your name on that burner account. He's like, what? I'm like, on the burner account. You left your name on the main page of it. I know it's you. And then he deletes this account. So you get so much disingenuity. You get so many people lying that it's hard to navigate through it. But most of the time, it's just a couple days of mean comments on social media. But at the end of the day, you slammed a kid's face to the car. People are going to be pissed about that. You could say it's my fault for identifying him, but I didn't make him slam the kid's face into the car. Right. And I don't care who he votes for at that point. He should be held accountable. He was arrested. He was arrested, and then the police station contacted me on Twitter and offered me a bounty for it, which I didn't know I could get paid for this. I really had no idea. And so it's kind of weird. And of course, I'll donate that back to the victim. But it's kind of weird that people will go oh yeah, is this vigilante work, whatever? I'm like, they literally paid me for it.
So
Fab's been blocked, just so everybody knows.
When you go,
that was horrible.
When you see the aftermath of what you do, and you see maybe a job got lost, or somebody's out of income now, and it's affecting kids that didn't have a say in any of this. Is that something that kind of weighs into you, or are you just solely focused on holding that particular person accountable, no matter who it affects afterwards?
So that ripple effect is a result of their own actions. I obviously sympathize with people, and I sympathize a lot more than people would believe that I do. But I do. But if, as somebody who has been a business owner before, if my employee is out there slamming kids' faces into cars, I want to know about it, because now it's going to make my company look bad.
Sure.
But you're always representing the people that you work for. But whether or not they get fired, that's a decision their employer makes. Once this becomes viral anyway, Mm-hmm. But the point is that if I don't, point out who that is in that video, who that was, someone else will. Eventually, it'll get around. I think the better strategy is avoid slamming kids' faces into cars, and you could probably keep your job. But like, it's weird how that comes back on me. All I did is say
a lot
that's
of
who
the
that
time,
is.
so it doesn't necessarily have to be you, and that's what sucks. Like,
Mhm.
I couldn't imagine running an account the size of yours. That would horrify me. Like now, I delete as soon as I get close to 10K. I'm like, bye bye, and I start a new one. Like I don't want to be because it's so hard to keep track of. And then
I mean, TikTok makes you start a new one because you get banned.
Well, that too. I get banned a lot. But to me, it's kind of like because a lot of the times we get blamed for what the people who follow us choose to do. Like, and that's something that I think a lot of people don't pay attention to, because even if we make a video, because I've done it, even if you make a video saying, guys, I'm just putting this out there, don't go nuts, don't go start threatening their families, don't go, it doesn't matter what you say, people will do what people will do. Do you feel like you get blamed a lot for like what people who follow you end up doing with your videos?
So I haven't specifically had a follower. Like I've been accused by people will say like your follower came and did this, and I'll check and go, well, they don't follow me. What are you talking about? And so I've always been kind of strict about like I don't condone any violence. If people start writing violent things or putting out information that, like, I don't put addresses and phone numbers out, and if people start putting that out, I start deleting or blocking. I'm very like. I try to be as consistent as I can when it comes to that, because I'm not looking to cause like more problems than there needs to be, because there could be those people who are going to take it too far. But what I see often too is that people like the people that we've been dealing with recently who do these sort of coordinated attacks, they will represent you and go say something and say, I'm Danesh's follower, and yada yada yada, to try to make it fall back on me.
Right.
Like I've like I said, I've been through this Discord. But that
Hold on. Wait. So they'll pose as a follower of yours.
Yeah.
To make it fall back on you. And
yeah, of course.
Don't plan it. Like how coordinated is this? Because it's
I'm sorry?
That's icky. Like how coordinated is this group? Like that's icky.
Yeah, well, it's not just this group. This happens, like, it's hard to prove that. It's hard to prove whether or not somebody is your follower, but like if you have somebody who like just made an account, triple zeros, across, has only ever like interacted this one time to do this, it's kind of suspicious.
Yeah.
Especially since like it's never been the theme of my page to hurt anybody. So like, and I've been very consistent about that. And yes, what you said earlier about having an account this size, the problem is that you get a lot of people who will make videos about you. Say like a lot of people on the right that don't like me. They'll make a lot of videos.
Hypothetically speaking.
Hypothetically. And they'll start to spin like some sort of like, tale about you. And then they jump on that and that grows. And then like, I can't really say anything. I've got like 1 million followers. And if I say one thing, their account gets overrun, they get banned, and then they just blame me for that. And there's really like no chance at me just being like, hey, that's not, like if I even try making a video saying, hey, that's not true, that didn't happen, their account gets banned. And so I go, well, so I can't really respond, because if I do, it's too big of a backlash to like all the horrible things they're saying.
A little bit, because I remember when you guys found my Pure Blood video, and that made its way, like all y'all found that. Like I was legit looking at my phone like, oh fuck. They all
But here's the thing though, Kat, I guess this is the thing to point out.
Thing, though, not once everybody was like, you're gonna get attacked, they're gonna threaten you, they're gonna the worst harassment that I have ever had on this app has come from my own party. I didn't get anything for those. Like Muscles did it. I think you did one.
I don't remember.
Me and you went back a couple times.
The Pure Blood.
Did we?
Dude, y'all wound up getting me put in some freaking liberal newspaper thing, and it was everywhere. And like my family.
Did I? I don't remember.
You don't remember the Pure Blood?
Not really.
He's like, dude, there's so many. Right, there's so many of them.
No, I'm not trying to insult you. I just
no, you're not. You're not insulting me, but it made its way through. And so I'm sitting here ready for all the stuff that I've heard, right? I'm ready. I'm going to get death threats. I'm going to get this. No, I just got a bunch of comments like, "Are you married to your brother too?" And I was like, "All right, that's kind of fucking funny."
Yeah,
But
but
like,
yeah,
it was innocent trolling. Like, it was just
yeah.
rude, stupid trolling. Never once did anybody come into my DMs. I never was
Mhm.
threatened. I was never doxxed. I was never anything. The only people who have ever, I knew Misfit would be live. I made a video about that he would go live. That's funny. Anyways, but nothing horrific happened to me. Like I
Mhm.
said, the worst things that have ever happened to me are from my own party. So to
Mhm.
me, it's by personal experience. I don't see what people mean by as soon as you get a hold of a video,
Mhm.
everyone's doxxed and everyone's
Right.
threatened, because I didn't have that experience. And you
Mm.
did one, Aunt Karen did one, Muscles did one, all
Wow,
you did it. It
that's a
made
lot. That's a lot to.
made it through the whole group, and it wound up
Mm.
on Buzz something. I
Right.
don't fucking know. But
Yeah,
I didn't get anything from it, so I'm confused at
yeah.
rumors.
Yeah, I mean that's another thing is people send a lot of like requests to help, and a lot of it is like someone sent me a death threat, and like as much as I hate to say it, it's usually like, hey, 99% of the time that's nothing, just ignore it. And they go,
Right.
how could you say that's a death threat? I'm like, I get so many, they're nothing. They're really like they're 99% of the time. I could tell you it's just nothing. And I can't always figure out who that is specifically, but like there are some death threats, that are legitimate, and
Mhm.
I've had to deal with one where I had to go to the FBI, and I'm sure like the other people have had to deal with real ones before, but most of the time it's just somebody who wants you to stop doing your content.
So people want, and this was going to come up, people are concerned that you're just playing a game with two of
Mm.
the conservative creators and you're just trying to. Why were you open to talking to us? I was.
Um, I don't know, because this past couple days has been kind of weird because
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
again,
Roll back.
it did start like kind of as like something that I found funny. And like I was being genuine the whole time. I expressed exactly how I felt the whole time. I thought it was funny at first, grabbing the popcorn. I treated that very much the way that I was treating that.
Well, we would have done the same thing if y'all would have gone at each other.
Sure,
So let's be
people were specifically the person that I was making fun of was for the past week. So
honest.
I don't know why it's surprising to him that suddenly I'm happy.
Right.
So that's that's really all that was. But then like as it kind of like moved along, I felt that there's too much of this guy's gotten away with that it hadn't been addressed before, because the last time, especially his friend that you guys have been learning about recently, the last time I was going after him, I got swatted right in the middle of that.
Yeah.
So that's what like diverted me away, which is why like some people will think who had to do with that, we don't know, but I'm not gonna throw any names out at this point,
Yeah.
but that
Oh, look, we
sidetracked us.
circled back. So let's
Yeah.
talk about the swatting.
So yeah, when I first started doing videos like I was doing back in April of last year, it's when I first started getting death threats, and I got a serious one. It was one that like was very aggressive. Well, at that point, I called at the time, who was it? I called some sort of authority. I don't remember what it was, but I told them, hey, I might get swatted because I see that there's doxes of me all over the internet.
Mhm.
So if you get a phone call or something about me doing something like that, it's not real.
Right.
And they go, well, we don't really have a way of keeping track. I'm like, is there like a note you can leave or something? And they're like, the closest SWAT team is so far away that like
How
they wouldn't
far away?
send, very far away, hours away. So they
Okay.
were like, they wouldn't send the SWAT team anyway. So I was like, oh, okay. So anyway, fast forward to when it happened. I believe it was in December. I can't remember. Actually, Savannah got swatted first. And for her, it was a lot calmer.
I just got to her swatting. I was deep in the Brian Carlson hole, and then I needed a minute. I'm not even going to lie to you. Like, I mean, I called Tex in tears. I was like, we fucked up. We fucked up so bad. So bad.
There are a couple parts of it where like I have to look away. Like in the video that I posted, even when I started showing the bruises, I always had to like look away from that.
Wait,
Mine
bruises
was
from
the
the
kid.
police?
The what?
Bruises from the police?
No, of the Brian Carlson videos.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No. There was no bruises from the police. So anyway, back to that. So she got swatted, and hers was it was gentler than mine in a sense that they still had like a bunch of cops show up at her door, and she recorded it on her Ring, and it's still scary because though she didn't get like her door busted in or anything, you got to think like the intention of the person who made that call or made that all happen, their intention was to get everyone in that house killed.
Because it happens. Statistically speaking, it does happen with swatting. I looked into it. I looked at the statistics of it, and it's dangerous. It's
very dangerous.
Yeah. And the first reaction we were getting is it's not really swatting. It's not the SWAT team. I'm like, actually, you read the definition. That's not a requirement. The swatting part is when you put in those fake, manifestos or whatever it is, however they're doing it. Yeah. For us, it was manifestos. And then she started a case on that. She obviously reported that. Then she gave me the case number because she's like, it seems to happen in pairs with us, like everything bad that happens. So she's like, you're probably going to get swatted next. So the next day I was literally getting up to get in the shower and I got a phone call and it said police. So I picked it up and they were like, hey, we got your email. And I'm like, I didn't send an email. Did I get swatted? And they're like, what? Like, did somebody send like an email saying I'm going to do stuff to like reading off what I remembered of what they wrote for Savannah. I was like, did they say I'm going to go to City Hall and just kill everyone because I hate minorities or something? Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, that's the email we got. And like, yeah, that's not me. I'm being swatted right now. And they were like, yeah, we saw your you had called in earlier this year about this possibly happening. So like it's because of these measures that we took that probably really helped. But as I was getting off the phone, I was like, okay, well then I guess that's all. And he's like, no, we still need to talk to you. I said, okay, well, I'm getting in the shower, come by whenever. And they're like, well, we're here now. I was like, oh, okay then. I'll skip that shower. Let me get dressed. And then I hear him yell, he's getting dressed. And I'm like, okay, hey, calm down. Remember, we talked about this being fake.
But were you low-key just like a little bit like, what the fuck? Like,
my skin is like just...
I see a cop sitting outside my house for too long, and I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you chilling there for so long? What are you doing? I couldn't imagine that.
Yeah, well, he goes, I got the phone on me, and I'm going outside, and it's kind of cold, so I'm like, let me grab a coat. And he goes, he's grabbing a coat again, and I'm like, fucking man, it was like starting to get scary. And so I grabbed the first coat I can, which happens to be a black long jacket, which doesn't look good.
Put a trench coat on, bro. What are you doing?
And I start walking towards the door, and I hear the last thing he says before my phone dies is, just stay on the phone with me. And so I'm like,
that's scary. Why are you laughing?
Because that's how I do.
It's one of those situations. I'm sure that I'm sure it's one of those situations after the fact. It's funny.
Like, I mean, I'm laughing. I'm laughing during it because that's how I deal with it. Like, I laugh during my dad's funeral. Like, I laugh to get through things. So it doesn't mean I'm happy. Like,
I laughed at my dad's funeral twice.
Yeah. See, so it doesn't mean that like this is a joke to me. It just means that like I'm processing this. And so I go to step outside and there's no one there. And so now I'm like, okay, like what's going on? Do they have the wrong house, or like, are they going to come later, or they think I'm running away? Cause I don't know what's going on. But the way I'd compare it is like, have you seen the original Aladdin, the cartoon? Mm-hmm. You remember like the scene where that guy in the beginning first goes into the Cave of Wonders, takes a step, thinking that something's going to happen and nothing happens. Then he relaxes, then suddenly it collapses on him. Exactly like that. I take a step outside, nothing happens, and I'm just like, oh, okay, we're fine. And I go take another step, then suddenly I have cops coming from every direction, from driving their cars onto my lawn, from like the left side of my house, the right side, behind my house, in front of my house, like every street. These like cars that were passing by, all of a sudden they're actually undercover cops. They come towards me. Holy shit. all these cops come out, and I start walking towards them, and I'm trying to get my phone back on. So I'm out there like with my portable charger and my phone, trying to get my phone back on, and they're surrounding me. They're like, hands up. I'm like, all right. And I'm circled. I'm hands up. They search me and everything. Very different experience than what Savannah had. But at the same time, they're just standing there like, so you're saying you didn't send it? And I'm like, hold on. And then my phone loads. This is the weird part now. I'm sitting there with the cop going like, all right, look at my phone. So this is Brian Carlson, and this is what happened. And while this was happening, this happened, and there was this victim here, and then this happened. And like, it's like the dumbest thing where I'm just trying to like show him TikTok drama to be like,
TikTok
so
content?
that's probably what led to this happening here.
Wow.
It also happened to her. So your TikTok, she got swatted. Yep, happened to her too. And they're just like looking at me like I'm an idiot because this is weird, right?
Yeah, no, it is.
And
I was trying to
so-
explain it to my dad, and he was like,
I had to watch Tex tell another guy that he wanted to lick his butthole in my court hearing because one of the podcasts was used and they stopped it at the wrong point. So I'm standing in front of a judge and all of a sudden I hear Tex go, if you don't shut your mouth, I'm going to tongue punch you in your asshole. And I was like, this is real court.
Whoops.
This is a real judge. Like what? Because your brain can't wrap around that it's like intersect.
Yeah. Well, after like talking to them for a while, one of the, it seemed to calm down when I showed them the case number for Savannah swatting. And then one of them passed by my car and pointed at my Bernie bumper sticker. He's like, that's probably why it's happening, laughing
you're a
about it. And
Bernie
I go,
bro?
huh?
You're a Bernie bro?
It's better than being
Bernie
a Biden
bro.
Isn't that
It's
what they
better
call Bernie said?
Biden bro, Tex.
Huh?
It's better than being a Biden bro. Bernie's got those mittens. Bernie just wants everybody to love everybody.
Yeah, I
Like, that
supported
poor
Bernie.
guy, he's just been trying so hard and he just keeps getting fucked over and over and over again.
And that's kind of why like I started to move away from politics. It felt kind of hopeless. Anyway, so
Joe Jorgensen now.
So yeah, no, I'm not. I don't like that. So
Middle.
That's the middle.
No, it was the middle. It wasn't. No.
Not.
Is that why conservatives liked her more?
No,
Probably,
yeah, no, it's still too far. But after the cops leave, I go home and I post this on Twitter and I say that. So I make this inside joke, which you guys won't get, but I'll explain it to you. I post this on Twitter and it's a picture of me. You've seen the picture, surrounded by cops.
Mm-hmm.
And in the caption I wrote, cops realizing they have no jurisdiction in Daneland. And
yeah, I did see this tweet.
okay. So then I get a call from the police immediately. And they go, what is Daneland? I'm like, what? Like, is it some sort of sovereign nation? I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. No, it's a joke. He's like, why would you be making a joke if you were just swatted? I'm like, no, it's I'm just trying to, he's like, you need to tell me what Daneland is right now. I'm like, ugh. There was this racist guy who wanted to make fun of me, but he didn't know what country I was from. He saw my username. It said ThatDaneshguy. He thought it said ThatDaneshguy. And he looked at me and said, you're not really Danish. You're not from Daneland. And the joke is that he doesn't know that Danish people are from Denmark, not from Daneland. So we started this whole thing saying that I'm from Daneland. That's the joke.
Oh my gosh.
Okay,
And I hear him just go, okay. And I'm like, yeah, so that's it. And he's like, okay. And then he hangs up.
I feel like there needs to now be like social media training for police officers. Everything like this is how TikTok works. This is how this works. This is what we take seriously. This is what we don't take seriously.
It was he said actually before he got off the phone, you said, okay, because it just kind of sounds kind of anti-cop. I'm like, no, I appreciate everything you guys are doing. I'm not you guys are helping me. Why would it be anti-cop? And he's like, it just sounds, you have freedom of speech, say whatever you want. It just sounds anti-cop. I'm like, do you want me to take it down? He's like, you do whatever you want. I'm like, all right, I'm going to take it. I can take it down. He's like, no. Freedom of speech. I'm like, okay, I'll keep it up. It was just this weird back and forth we were having.
Right.
But I think that their concern was like that it was like some sort of sovereign nation thing. And they thought maybe I was behind my own swatting or something. I don't know. So,
well, that was one of the rumors that went around was that you and Savannah both swatted yourselves. And I'm kind of like, that's a bit excessive.
Yeah, no. My child was in the house at the time. It was, all joking aside, it is actually very horrifying. And no, I wouldn't like sacrifice everything for that. Like I could, I don't understand why somebody would think that I would want to put myself in some sort of prison trying to like say I was swatted.
Right.
Right.
It's bizarre, but it's not even the most bizarre thing. I heard as I was reading through the Discords, someone was saying that it was a different, they said that I had a different haircut and different beard, so it must have been a different time. And they didn't calculate that maybe when I'm not ready to be in front of a camera, that maybe my hair looks disheveled or something. I don't look like what I look like all the time. But but I've heard a lot of different conspiracies. But the fact of the matter is we do want the person to be held accountable. And that's why we stopped speculating about it as much.
Yeah.
There are a few people and that we think it could be.
Obviously.
Yeah. No, I mean, and I guess like kind of going back to your content a little bit, So I know like you give some examples of like obviously the violent stuff, which I don't think that many people even on our side on the right would necessarily disagree with, smashing a baby's face into
Sure.
a door.
It wasn't
Is
a baby, it
something
was a
that
kid. Not
they need
not
to
a
be
kid.
held accountable.
Yeah.
Obviously, then you have the other side that
like
you
17.
also tend to go on, and that's like obviously misinformation.
Mm.
What do you guys deem as misinformation to you?
So there's no reason for me to it wouldn't be effective for me to go after somebody because they're just like, if you were making content and you were saying something that was incorrect about COVID or whatever, there's nothing I can really do about that. Like, you can say that. Like, I wish you wouldn't, but I can't do anything about it.
Right.
If it is like relevant to your job, let's say there's this lady that worked for Pfizer. The problem was she's married to a pedophile, but there's nothing I can. But like that's the main problem here. But she also worked for Pfizer, and she's anti-vax, she's anti-mask, anti-everything. Pfizer doesn't care. There's nothing I can do about that. Like I personally don't think she should be working for Pfizer if she doesn't believe in the vaccine, but Pfizer doesn't give a fuck. So what do I can't change that. So
Right.
it's not up to me. If the company chooses that they don't want to associate with it, the guy who smashes the kid's face in the car, his company kept him. They didn't care. like it's not always within my power to be able to do something. It's really what people's reaction is to it. And so yeah, I have tried, like, for example, I know we're gonna have a difference of opinion on this, but
And that's
like,
okay.
if I see a nurse that is anti-vax, to me that's a huge red flag. It's a red alarm. People can get hurt. But like, do you know how
do you mean, like true anti-vax or just anti like choice? Like, what if there's someone who's always kind of
I've always said there's a difference between people who are anti-vax and vaccine hesitant. There's a difference between that. And vaccine hesitant, I'm always open to conversation about. But
I'm not anti-vax because I am 100%
I was
anti-vax.
gonna say,
okay.
Tex
So you're anti-vax.
vaccine hesitant. Tex is
Okay.
full anti-vax.
So you're anti-vax. I'm very much pro-vax.
Sure.
But like, there's nothing I can really do to you at all. I mean, there's nothing I can do. If you were a nurse and you were giving out false medical advice about the vaccine, even then, like, it's disappointing for me, it's disappointing because nothing really happens as a result. It was my idea that these nurses would get fired, but that doesn't seem to really happen. The only
Now, what
reason
about a nurse that just simply says, I'm not for vaccines, I'm not making a stance, but like I'm kind of noticing something.
Either way, nothing really happens to them. Like, unless that's what I'm trying to say is like that's why you don't really see much of that anymore. Because I mean, at this point, there's either some sort of vaccine mandate for the place that they work, or there's just not. And there's there's nothing I can do to change. There's nothing I can do to change that. As much as I wish that people in the medical field were taking it seriously, from my experience, there's nothing I can really do about it.
Right.
Like, this trauma nurse says, I'm not anti-vax, but I'm against forced vaccination for someone who doesn't want it. So that
I've been open about being against forced vaccination. I don't know many people who are for forced vaccination. I think that would have huge backlash.
Mhm.
I want everyone to get vaccinated, but like, I've never dabbled into forced. I've pushed back on that on my platform, and I think that you're going to get a lot of backlash, and people who already feel like already feel that the vaccines, if there's a conspiracy they believe, or if there's something else they believe about it, or if they're hesitant, like, forcing it will push them further away.
Yes.
So that's not been that's not the way I had been approaching that. Instead, I show what happens when you don't get the vaccine. I'll show like people who had I was doing this type of content before, but I would show people who would say the same type of things that you may say about vaccines, and then show that, hey, they got COVID and died, and try to, like, in that way be like, you see, like, more of just like kind of like persuade you. If I can't, then I can't. But I can't get you fired over that.
And I feel opposite of it, but like, you're just doing what I'm doing. You're doing what you believe. You know what I mean? Like, I'm hesitant. Like I said, Tex is like, like I've never understood. I've never personally understood being completely opposed. But like with me personally, like I have failure to thrive. I have a lot of health problems. Everybody in my family, though, that's around me is vaccinated. Like my mother is vaccinated. My oldest daughter is like, she wanted to be vaccinated. And I was like, if that's what you want, absolutely. Like, if that's what makes you feel safe. And that's what and I do believe that there is data that does show that it does help. There is, and we can't deny that. And if people want to take that data and say, okay, well, it's not enough to show me, okay, cool. You do you. If it's not enough, if it is for you, okay, cool. But I feel like we all it was too politicized from the beginning. Like,
yes.
It was too politicized. Like, because
I think that's where a lot of the hesitation came from.
I was when it first hit. Like I worked in long-term care. It was before I got really sick in the beginning of COVID. Like went downhill. I lost like 115 pounds. It was freaking horrible. But I was working in the beginning of it. And I was one of those girls that came home, took my scrubs off, brown paper bag, into the thing, didn't touch my kids, didn't anything. I did all the things. But then I just was like, everybody's fighting over it. And it's so politicized that I don't know anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
I can say that, like, I remember when they were talking about
Biden and Trump, and it's like, why are you guys like, shh? If you guys just more people get vaccinated, stop fighting over it, like toddlers. And
I think that there was a lot of it was far too politicized. I do agree on that. I obviously I'm absolutely for the vaccine and everything. But if it would have come out and Trump was president, I would have been a little hesitant, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Just because I don't trust him.
Here's the question that I do have on that, just out of curiosity, not to battle or anything like that. I mean, Trump did come out with it in theory. By the same company.
It came out during his administration.
It's not like Trump was in the lab.
Right.
And that's the thing I get. So like for me, like just because my personal beliefs, for me it doesn't matter if Trump came out with it, obviously, or Biden came out with it. I still wouldn't have taken it no matter what. So it wasn't a question for me and my family. But why under Trump would it not be okay, but under Biden it would be, even though neither one legitimately has anything to do with it? It's all the pharmaceutical companies.
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm being honest. Like I don't know. Like I honestly, I would have been hesitant, but I probably would have done it even if it was under Trump, because of exactly what you said. They really don't have anything to do with it. And then I think that, like, when I've been approached by people who are vaccine hesitant, and they will say to me, I just don't know. Or like I was approached by a black gentleman who says, because of what happened, with Tuskegee experiments, I'm not, like, I personally, there's a different stake for me here. I just don't trust it. And like, I'm obviously sensitive to that, where I would say, well, yeah, I get it. The way I see it is that, like, both Trump and Biden got it, and like every other president got it. So I'm going to get what they're getting, just because, like, if some shade was going on, they wouldn't have taken it. And that's what actually convinced him to go, like, oh, okay, yeah, I agree on that. So like that's I think for some people there are different reasonings. I don't know what your reasoning is, Tex, but as soon as my kid was able to get vaccinated, I was just sort of like, if you're not getting vaccinated, don't get vaccinated. I wish you would, but my kid's vaccinated at this point, I feel a little more comfortable.
Is like I have zero issues with anybody getting vaccinated. Like,
sure,
you do you.
Sure.
For me, I just wish it was the same return of favor. I mean, I had CPS called on me a couple of times because I've publicly stated, because it is my belief that I don't vaccinate my kids. They get exemptions to go to public school and whatnot.
CPS is excessive. I would not have done that ever. For not getting
it wasn't
vaccinated.
Obviously through you. It was some people on live and whatnot. And so for me, like,
crazy.
I could go down a whole rabbit trail of why it has nothing to do.
You said on live, Max, like,
huh?
You did say the shit that you said on live. Like, did you not expect?
What, that I don't vaccinate? That's why they called CPS that time.
But
because of your bioterrorist?
No, that was a different time. I'm telling you, like, look, I have I own my shit. I know my mouth
Sure.
rattles off. I get it. Like, and I fully expect the hate. Like, in all honesty, sometimes like if I don't get hate for a week, I will say something stupid to get the hate because then I feel like I'm not doing anything right. If I'm not getting the hate. And so I know it's weird, but but most of the time what I say is what I do believe too at the same time. So it's not like I just spout something off. I do believe it. And so for me, like the vaccine doesn't have any correlation. Why I don't vaccinate has nothing to do with autism. Absolutely nothing.
Oh, good. Yeah, no, I would hope not.
No, it doesn't.
I'm a mother of an autistic child that is fully vaccinated and fully vaccinated, and it has nothing to do with the vaccine.
Yeah.
That she is autistic. Like
yeah, and so
by saying that right now, there are certain people though on TikTok that are just like, yes, it does.
Right. Oh no, I get it. Like I can almost kind of see the correlation just through data, but I don't go there. That's not my belief on why I don't do it. But it's just for me, like a lot of it has to do with the failed trust in pharmaceutical companies in general. I am pretty much, and I don't want to say anti-science, obviously, but I'm not fully on board with all medical right now, especially the way that it has politicized everything, and I just don't trust pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah, I do think the reason why you're not getting that reciprocated is because the point of the point that like whether it came to like masks or vaccine or anything, it was to protect other people. And so it is the way that people perceive that is that like you're not willing to do something that I was willing to do for you, basically. Whereas I know you're going to say I didn't ask you to do that, right? But like, but that is where that like friction will come from, where especially with the mask, because the mask doesn't do anything for you; it does something for other people. Right. So when you're wearing a mask and someone else isn't, it just kind of it feels like a hey, like I don't like I'm wearing this thing. Can't you just put it on for me? And people don't like being told what to do, like especially in America. Right there, people do not like being told what to do at all. So that that's going to always cause friction. But the only time I've ever I don't just go, okay, somebody's anti-vax, so I need to like make a video about them. I mean, I'll have my opinion about them. I'll have an opinion about their decisions, but it is if they like go into a restaurant and cause a scene for their social media and they record themselves yelling at the person working there and be like, hey, why won't you serve? And like you're disrupting the business. A business that goes like, we have to enforce this or we'll get in trouble. And they go, well, then they go like the Nazis had to do it too. I'm like, dude, like let people eat. Just order like takeout or something, because like it just that's how it is. That I find a little frustrating, and I am consistent about that because the only time I actually physically went to a location for TikTok, it was this guy who was abusing his girlfriend, and I went into his work and I asked for him. He wasn't there. I left. Well, they told me to leave, but I didn't cause a scene. Like once.
Then why did they tell you to leave?
Well, because I said, is that guy who beats women still working here? And they said, get out. And I said, well, you're going to choke me too? Buy me dinner first. And that's it though, that I left. I didn't cause a scene. I walked right out because otherwise I'd be a hypocrite. I find problem with the staying there and just like escalating it just for like, likes and
no, and I honestly, like, I'll agree with you on that one. I will 100%. The videos that came out, like, I mean, I did one at an urgent care because it was very weird how they ran it. And I wanted to like kind of show that, like, I understand where you're coming from, but like, as one of those people that needs to be like protected, which I hate, 'cause I'm super stubborn about my health. That's why people use it against me. Makes me really mad because I'm like stubborn about it. I don't like to talk about it. I don't like to exploit it. Like I'm all good. I use it when I kind of need to. But there was also this thing from it being so over polarized that people were so scared. There was a level of fear mongering that was going on with the extreme side of your political party and then the extreme side of my political party. So it's like we had this extreme side and this extreme side, and they were going at it. And in the wastefall of that, like I'm being treated in my car in a parking lot at urgent care because they registered it wrong. I had a fever, so that was a COVID symptom, so I couldn't come in, even though my condition causes me to run fevers for no reason.
I see.
And,
I see.
they missed like a severe kidney infection in me, and with failure to thrive, like I can't get sick.
Right.
Wow.
So I don't do a lot. Like I primarily stay home, and when I go to doctor's offices, I put a mask on. Like when I go to certain locations, I do what I'm asked to do. If somebody is comfortable with me in a plane, I of course go in as comfortable as I am. I go in without my mask. I understand COVID, I do, but like I really miss seeing people's faces. You know what I mean? Like, and I do understand the danger, and I'm not being like insecure to that, but like I just miss that personalization that we used to have with each other, where we could smile and talk to each other, and I was really lacking that. So I always go in as comfortable as I can be. But if I'm making somebody visibly uncomfortable, I'm not going to, this is America and you're stomping on my rights. Like, no, I'll put it on for you if you actually are uncomfortable. If you're not doing it to be an asshole to me, I can respect you if you're respecting me. And I think that there's this place of like mutual respect that if we came to, you would be surprised at how many people would.
Yeah, well, I mean, and to speak to that too, that's why, like, part of the reason why I don't agree with forced vaccination is because I want people to want to do it too, and again, I feel like it'll push them away, but that common courtesy that has been lost for a while, and that's what it just becomes really sad when you.
That's a really serious allegation. Like, this is the stuff that we're talking about.
Oh, so that troll, I can't say names, right?
I know who that is.
No, I know who it is too. But like, for example, so I'm not gonna say their name, but that person has made like 500 videos about me, like a week, across like 30 accounts, accusing me of crazy stuff, man. The guy.
Same here, just in the last couple of days. Like,
well, yeah,
videos
destroyed. Me and Tax are having an affair. I think we're gonna throw you in the mix. Honestly, I'm not really good at Photoshop. We're gonna show our trip to the Poconos this week. I'm really looking forward to that one. Got the audio queued up, editing software. If you want to send me a selfie that you like,
we'll fix it on post too. But like see that person particularly has ever since I could remember, that person makes lots of it, and it's not just me. Anybody who likes comments on his wall or stitches with him or anything.
Oh yeah,
like tons of videos. So like
he doesn't fucking stop.
That like things like I'll see things like that and go, okay, he's not well. Like he really isn't, but like he's harmless too. He's not going to do anything. So I just kind of like leave him alone.
So we should just let him run free in the comments. He's good.
I don't care. Like I don't care. He's going to I could tell you everything he's going to accuse me of, but like it just like I don't care. No, he the new one he has is that I ran over somebody on a motorcycle and try to cover up whatever. And like he's been trying to
ridiculous stuff made up about me. I'm like, I feel you on this. Politics aside, like just TikTok in general.
Yeah.
On that, like, what like is this?
People like Trollto there keep me safe because he keeps pumping out wrong information. So like I do want him to do that because he doesn't like.
How bad, Jess? You want to send you a link in 5 minutes and come on after him?
No, she deserves her own show. We will.
She does deserve her own show. We'll schedule her till our next. I want to do these though.
Yeah.
I think they're important to do. Like we don't necessarily have to, but I don't like that phrase either. Like, well, I don't like them because here's the thing: as I'm talking to you, I would have a beer with you. You know what I mean? I didn't, and like Natalie, I don't know if you know her, Trunt Talk. She gets a lot of shit because she follows a lot of you guys, but she is pushed more towards conservative TikTok. She's very pro-choice. She aligns more. Like, I mean, I voted for Obama twice. I sit more in the middle too.
I have
like trying to figure out how to fix it, and we're all kind of around. But you seem like somebody who is open to.
I already have conservative. Yeah, I already have conservative followers. I've had conservative followers, and they'll identify themselves every now and then. When I'll say in like my comment section, I go, there are some conservatives that do follow my page and like it, and they'll go, hi, I'm here, conservative that likes your content. That's not strange for me because again, I aim it to be like as non-political as possible, but like there are times where I've gone after like predators or pedophiles which I feel like we all like are on the same page about that,
We
right?
can all like
Especially
legit.
since like
but-
pretty much all the right has like saved the children in their bio. So you would
Okay, but
think
like
You would think.
stop.
You would
No, stop, you guys. I'm not trying to get in trouble. I'm already in trouble on conservative TikTok and making
fuck
fun.
it, go all in.
But we can't invite the crazy to save the stop. Some of them are really like, and I went down it. I did. Like,
Mhm.
I watched it. The QAnon dropped on my birthday in like 2017, and it was like interesting, right? I love conspiracy theories because they teach me to look outside the box. And
Yes,
then they
Casey, this will be available for replay afterwards.
look into things, right? So I'm
Hmm.
thinking outside the box, I'm looking into things, and then I'm like, lizard people, and I'm like, okay, I'm going back over here. But by doing that, I'm more open to things being different, right? So I'm trying to look at things from every angle, and that's what you should learn from those and not stay so far down that it becomes true, because then we run into problems like we did with Pizzagate, circle back,
Right. Well,
in your car and go shoots up, like, stop it.
but that's the thing too, is what's gonna get stitches and stuff is like somebody putting up a video saying, I don't really like Donish, don't care for him. He's all right sometimes, but in general, I think he's a bad guy. Or someone saying Donish has definitely started Pizzagate, and like that's going to get more views, more hits, and that'll make it to our side.
As someone who specializes in lizard people, I don't think you're one of them.
Well, that also had, by the way, someone explained to me that has anti-Semitic overtones. So like, it's not like a good comparison to be making. I don't know the details of why, but like someone told me that once. So like but like, there's not like I'm going to be able to reason with that
I feel
person.
like they're trying to rile you up a little bit more than what you would already be riled up on that one.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know, but
like,
I don't know, but like
with those people, it's not a race thing. But
well, the point is like once someone's calling me a lizard, at that point there's no like honest conversation, because like they believe I eat like the eggs of like small birds. I do, but like they think I'm like a lizard,
right.
But again, like there's little to no conversation to have, but that's the voice that gets back to our side. It's been rare where I will see come to my side is say like a conservative holding another conservative accountable. I have seen it, but like that usually won't make it over there. So you don't see much of that. I saw it on accident. There was. Could I name a name if I'm saying it positively?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. There's one.
Like I did the no names thing for several reasons, and I'm going to be very transparent about them. First of all, I don't need more people going over to you and creating shit from this. I don't need more people over here. And our very bestie, who is, oh, poor Aunt, he's been on the beach all day long for St. Patty's Day. He covered me the last 2 episodes, so he has a night off. Usually conservative Anna's on here, who is very supportive of us having you on. Was very excited that we did, and is very excited to do more left. He left TikTok because of how just toxic it became. Like, if he engaged with left creators, he got a ton of shit for it. And he was finding situations where he'd go out for conservative events, and there would be somebody sitting at a table that come over and be like, well, I don't like you because you're conservative. And Anne's like, well, let's talk about what we both believe in first.
Yeah.
And see where we're at. And by the end of the night, they're doing shots together. They're hanging out. They're talking about their favorite movies. And I love that. I do. I truly love that. So he left because it became toxic. And now he's working with Turning Point, which is freaking incredible. Big shout out to Ant, because it's a huge success. And because he's not extreme right. Right? Like
I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm listening to you.
He's very middle ground. Like, he's always been a middle ground creator. But I feel like people think that like TikTok is end all be all. So it's like, oh, Donish is
Lost
doing
cause,
this.
Jess.
Now we're gonna spread it here. So look over here. Look over here at this left creator and ignore this, and this. And I was dumb enough. I was dumb enough to fall for it. I can own that. I can own the shit out of that. That I ignored a lot of the stuff because it was coming from my own party, and I was very wrapped up in this. Like, I want to save our country, because I do. I genuinely do want things to be good, but I was stuck in this narrative of, well, wait, you want it to be good, but you want it to be your interpretation of good, and that's not somebody else's interpretation of good.
Mhm.
So that's why you have to, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? We have to. Otherwise, nothing's going to get fixed. You're going to be bitching at me. I'm going to be bitching at you. Or we
Mhm.
could be like, hey, this is really fucked up. Like, this is all
Mhm.
like Donald Trump was the fucking president for 4 years. And now Joe Biden is back. And like, come
Mhm.
on. It's a
Yeah,
mess.
I didn't want either of them, by
Forever.
the way.
It's been a mess forever.
Mhm.
And like I'm anti like going forward, and that's why they don't like me, is that I already started saying like, hey, if he runs again, I'm not going to vote for him. I didn't
Mhm.
like him necessarily for the 4 years, but what I did like is this, is that he
Mhm.
broke it. He did. He essentially came out and was like, fuck all of you, I'm going to break it. And now we're all having those conversations. Like, how involved in politics were you before that?
Right. I was checked out. I was
Right.
absolutely checked out. It wasn't until he showed up and said that like people like that my family might be banned if they try to travel to America. That's their point. I was like, oh shit, now I'm like forced into this conversation that I never cared to have.
Now
Yeah,
where are you? Now where? Because you're like first generation American.
yeah, I was born in America.
Okay, me too.
Yeah, my family's from Iran. So we do. It was hard. It's hard to immigrate from there because after the revolution in the 70s, like they burned down the American embassy. So there's like, it's really hard. You'd
Sure.
have to like get citizenship, like not citizenship. You had to go to another country nearby that does have an embassy and apply from there, which is also very hard because that means you had to live in that country for a while you wait. So I've had family members who have like gone and lived in like Turkey or like Italy or something or Germany for years and years. But the date it takes about 7 years for the thing to be complete for you to be able to come on over. And then while they were waiting, fucking like 9/11 happens, and so then that gets like pushed back. And then at a certain point they change the law where it's like, oh, you can't use your parents' immigration status if you're over 21. So I have my grandma who was trying to get her kids over here. Now their kids no longer qualify, so they got to go back to Iran. Like, it's messy and hard and
Yeah,
very difficult. And I don't think people
here from Ireland, so I'm first generation American, and I always grew up with the term of like American privilege.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think people don't realize like a lot of the trouble that goes into it, but also then this like blanket like idea of like a ban was that became really difficult to sit with because I'm like, dude, I have cousins that like they waited 7 years, they got sent back to Iran, then they got drafted because they have a draft there, had to serve, and then they got to go left again, waited another 7 years, and so finally they're like, and they finally got here when they were like what, like 30 or 40 to start their life. Like, come on, there's got to be like.
I don't even know how to begin to like. We can do the typical Democrat Republican thing if you
Sure,
want,
sure.
right now, but I don't want to.
No, I really don't. No, I really don't want to.
Like, I am a child of an immigrant, so I do understand that. That's why I was very passionate about Native affairs when I went off on it today, because that makes me sick to my core. You don't understand that culture. You need to stay very the far away from it. Admit that you're ignorant to it, and that's okay, because we're all ignorant about everything. Ignorance is not a bad thing. That means that there's room to grow a little bit, but stay the hell out of it if you don't know about it. So like everything's just so broken. And like,
I mean, everything is polarized and
Republican bullshit, but I don't want to recycle Republican bullshit anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I want to try to do it differently and the way that we haven't done it. Because otherwise we're just going to keep fighting. Like, now we've gone from stitches, right? Like, if you just take TikTok, I know it's like weird to take TikTok as an example, but we went from stitching each other, right? Really harmless, like, lefty, okay, Trump tard. And it was fun. It was fun banter back and forth.
And now it's like, you're but
it went from that to like
swatting.
Well, that's been my whole deal.
From swatting to I'm going to show up at your front door. Like, I had a dude live with Misfit Patriot that was like, I live 10 minutes from your house. I wasn't on the live. And for people who, just because I'm not crying on the internet or posting from the hospital or like, doesn't mean that I'm not actually doing that when no one's looking. Like, this is my best friend here, and he literally called my husband and was like, I'm not trying to freak you out, but there's a guy on live right now that says that he lives 10 minutes from your wife. And I'm a little concerned because these people aren't stable. So
He
now
just
I'm
threatened to dox me,
now
by the
I'm
way.
like, and I've been in an abusive relationship where I had to get restraining orders and I had to move around and I had to do. Those are the restraining orders that Misfit Patriot likes to bring out. They're ones that I put out, but okay. So I've lived that life, you know, of like hiding and like freaking out, and every time that someone is around, and they use what you do and say that it's not the same as what they do, but like
It's the
I've
same.
never seen you creepily instill fear unless I'm
yeah.
I've never seen you be like, hey, I know you.
Right.
And
Right.
neither is right, neither is wrong.
Well,
But
that's been my whole deal with
doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's
when
been
you
my whole deal with
hear
this
somebody,
whole.
that's not okay. Like Tex was there. I was full blown hyperventilating. I was in the hospital all day on Sunday. Guess what? I didn't post from the hospital. I was watching all you fuckers, but I didn't post from the hospital. Like that did scare the shit out of me. Scared the ever living shit out of me. My husband came home early from work. So it's like when you say things in a creepy demeanor of like, I've never seen you be like, I live 5 minutes from this person. Don't underestimate me. Like
the only time I've ever
I agree with everything that y'all do either, but it's just like personal. Legality wise, no one's breaking the law. Otherwise, people would be arrested.
That's true. There are some little things here and there of whether it's slander or harassment stuff, but you have to be able to afford a lawyer, and then at the same time, the person you're suing has to have money. Otherwise, there's really nothing to do there. So
hold on 1 second. What we're trying to do in this live is not necessarily about every single question that you guys want to berate him with. My whole thing is you guys see him in 1 minute videos. I see him in 1 minute videos. I see him in 30-second videos. If you don't know somebody as a person and you don't watch them talk and their mannerisms, you don't know them. So that's what I'm trying to do. But we are trying to answer questions to these people. Just don't be demanding. Like
I could answer that question too if you just give me a moment.
You're comfortable with answering it. Like that's why I
no.
you on
about doxing a nurse on live or something.
So no, I'm happy to answer that question. We were both Savannah and I were both.
I was mad about that one too. So I do want to hear.
I don't know anything about it, so I can't.
Sure, yeah. Savannah and I were in the live, and there was somebody giving bad medical advice as to take Ivor. Oh, because we were working on a case. Okay, so there's one thing that like we all need to agree on. You cannot break certain federal laws that are put in place. For example, like you can't forge a medical document. That has always been illegal, regardless of what your feelings on COVID are.
No, you're right.
That's illegal. That's not what this was about.
Absolutely.
That's not what this was about. This was about specifically. We were talking about Taste of Sicily, which is this restaurant that was basically getting people in touch with a doctor. Well, no, the pizza place acted as the mule. They would get in touch with a doctor.
I fucking can't stop.
It's real. Yeah, there's a pizza place thing. So there's a pizza place that would get prescriptions from a doctor sent to a pharmacy to get your prescriptions on whether it's ivermectin or a hydroxychloroquine. Which, if you believe that's a COVID cure, I obviously disagree with you. But that's not the problem with that. Is that there's a doctor that's never seeing their patients.
People or no.
Well, the problem is that the doctor's never seeing the patients. They're just through the pizza shop.
No.
So So that at this point, we're like, this is a huge deal. So we bust that wide open.
Someone else we know.
So we bust that wide. What's that?
Like someone else we know.
Yeah, there's a conservative that I called out for this that we're finding doctors to prescribe now. Look, like I've had to take ivermectin before because I get like stomach issues. So I've taken human ivermectin before. Nice. And I have tons of friends who are on hydrochloroquine for lupus and things like that.
Lupus, absolutely.
You want to take them, like if they're doing it, like I don't care about people taking it for COVID. If their doctor saw them face to face, knows their medical history, and said this may help you.
Right. Well,
does not mean everybody. It means your care plan.
Right.
Throw shit nilly-willy. I don't like that.
And while I may, I'm not a doctor, so it's not my place to say anything about that. Like I personally feel like that there would be a red flag there, but I don't know. But I do know that when
he does that, so you can see the maturity level.
Oh,
they've already threatened that they're going.
Thinks you two are Okay. So anyway, to answer that comment from before,
they're going to dox. That B Will guy is going to dox me, is what I've been told.
Oh, he does he's done it to everyone on our side.
Yeah.
But
nothing wrong. So but that's the.
But do you know where he started? Sorry,
they're doxing people who are literally doing nothing wrong.
But that's not the narrative he started. He said last night he was in Misfits Live saying, Danish put out my wife's work and now everyone's calling my wife, which didn't happen. But he keeps saying that so that now he can do whatever he wants and say it's in retaliation.
Okay, well, let's go back to this specific situation because I do want to hear the rest of this. Because if they did that because a doctor was just throwing around medication.
No. That was a setup. I don't want to mix the story. So that was a setup, and we were in the live talking about this because this is like this is an actual drug bust. It's like honestly one of the biggest things we've done is actually stop a drug bust. Well, we had somebody in the chat say that no, you got to take ivermectin and telling people to take ivermectin, and we said, what is your qualification to tell people that? She goes, I'm a nurse. I go, where are you a nurse? And then we played that whole exact thing that we do where we go, okay, well, let's find out where she works, all that. But guess what? Nothing's gonna happen to her. I wish something.
Question. I want to get because look, like I've been drinking whiskey with Tex. I was very scared to go live with you.
I'm sorry.
It's very intimidating.
Well, and for full disclosure, well, I better not say that.
But here's my thing. Okay. Only because I know someone that this personally happened to. So I'm going to try to tell the situation without telling the situation. So if you had a nurse, for example, right, who was just starting to see things like I'm noticing like an uptick in this, right? So if she pointed out that she saw an uptick in, you know what word I'm going to say, the midro, I can't even
say. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But we know that, but we do know that does happen. It can happen. Right. So if you had a nurse that was just like, I'm seeing an uptick in this and it's like, it's weird. And just pointing out an uptick, is that somebody that you would be like, lose her fucking nursing license? She needs to be burned in hell.
There's nothing I can do about that.
Like, I know there's nothing that you can do about it, but I'm wondering like,
my opinion would be,
destroy somebody.
My opinion would be that they're definitely going into dangerous territory because if they see something like that, that's not something to like. That's something they should figure out within their own field. But like, definitely not something to just be like, hey, just put it out there. I saw this, so this might be a pattern. But that's not how science works, and that would mislead people. I would find that misleading. I wish there's something I could do about that. There's not. And of course, in my opinion of someone working in the medical field, just like throwing things out there like that would be that's irresponsible. But that, you know, if that could get one person fired, then, you know, then you'd see a lot of videos about that.
I mean, it definitely can bring them to a hearing to keep their nursing license. I will tell you that.
Well,
I think that this is where I think this whole thing on TikTok, and this is why I couldn't dox anybody to save my life. I barely know how to use the damn app.
Stuff. I don't know how y'all find all that shit. I'm just like, if I can't find it on Google,
I've heard so many rumors. Do you want to know my secret? Do you want to know how I find everybody? Is their Facebook. Everyone, no, Facebook. Everyone's got their Facebooks open, and like you want to, and like you would think, like, well, most people. Well, if you don't, someone you know does, and all it takes is like, you know, searching that. It's not as hard as people think. People give out their information. We already fucked up like years ago when we went on Facebook and just put everything out there. There's no taking that back.
Agreed.
There's no taking that back.
That's but like my thing is like, so I don't know who started the doxing. I don't really care. Like, was it the left or the right? Because at the end of the day, right now, everybody's doing it. Right. We have people on the right legitimately on live right now talking about doxing me, whatever. It doesn't bother me. But the thing is with the way that especially the American mentality is in general, this isn't a party thing, is let's just say, just for instance, left starts doxing. Now the right has to up it. Then the left has to up it. Then the right. And it's this battle that just,
it was probably some 16-year-old kid
doesn't stop, and that's why we've gotten to swatting, which is extremely dangerous and way beyond. And I'm not justifying it by any means, but the problem is like, obviously when you go after somebody for, misinformation, medical misinformation, or anything like that, then obviously the right has to up you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you probably feel at some point you've got to up the ante a little bit to get one up. Then the right has to. And I think this is where for me.
Yeah, I don't feel that. I wish people wouldn't see this as like a war or like an escalation. Like
that's the language that they're using on our side.
I know, but like if I'm
Tex, you dead ass looked at me today and was like, "It's our side." Not all, because y'all's extreme group is crazy as fuck.
Well, I'll tell you, like this whole thing, like with Misfit, has been a complete eye opener for me. I didn't know, like
because he's
Crazy Mother Runner.
Right.
Well, I didn't know like Crazy Mother Runner had to drop out of her race. And
I don't want to
huge.
I've been drinking, and I will go the fuck off. I'm a
huge advocate for local politics. So period. I don't care what party it is. I just.
Right.
To me, I do believe that like all change in this country starts at the local level. And so to to hear the other day when I was live that Crazy Mother Runner saying that she had to drop out of a race because of death threats, all this stuff, like that broke my heart, because it's like we're literally fighting against everything that I for sure believe in. I do believe that all
her fairly go run against her if you've got the balls. You didn't have the balls, so you had to fuck with her until she backed off. You're not even willing to do anything to take her place.
Right.
Agreed.
And that's where and I'm not justifying by any means the swatting, but it just seems like the whole tone of this whole app is just going to the point of everybody's got a one up. And I'm not saying you do by any means, because you just clarified that. But they feel obviously on our side that, you do this, so now we got to one up it. And then you come back with, even if you don't respond, you come back with doxing another person, and then they got to one up it.
Yeah. So do you see
where's the line, I guess is the question.
So do you notice how like in even in those examples, you give an example of me going after somebody who say is doing something unethical, and then somebody coming from the side and hitting me personally. Like the if you wanted to escalate it, go find someone like in public on the that's doing something immoral, wrong, like violent or whatever it is that you think is equal to what I'm doing. Hold them accountable. And honestly, I would say good job, but like, but the point is that I don't get why the response to me going after someone is people attacking me personally. I believe what I'm doing is ethical. I believe what I'm doing, is the right thing to do. That is my belief. If you were in my shoes, you would think that this is, also the right thing to do.
Right.
But
I want to know. I think that it's important for people to know your why. I really do. Like, we all have one, right? We all have one on why we're willing to like give everything for what we believe in. So I think it would be helpful, because no one on the right knows yours. I'm sure people on the left know yours. But what is your, like, if you could explain it to people, what would it be?
It's likely the same as everyone else's, which is that like I have kids, and they're going to be growing up in this world. And as a father, I want the world to be good enough for them. Like I want to do everything I can to make sure this. So when I see like, especially like racism towards people like myself, I think to myself, well, if I allow that, then I'm allowing that kind of thing to happen in the future to my own kids. So I got to stand up and say, no, this is wrong. And that I will die on this hill that it's wrong to discriminate against someone like me. But then also like there are other things too, where like I said earlier, people people don't want to get vaccinated, all that. Well, my kid's not vaccinated yet. Well, that to me, if say you agree with me on vaccines, then you would perceive it the same way, as that is a threat to my child. Mm-hmm. So once my kid's vaccinated, I feel a little more comfortable now, because you remember, I believe that the vaccine does work. Right. So
I've said numerous times that I do believe doxing is wrong. Personally, that's my belief that I do believe it's wrong.
But if we're actually going by the definition of doxing, and not what everybody has changed it out to be, if this is very personal information about yourself that nobody would have known had somebody not released it for malicious intent, you harmed.
Which, in my opinion, just my opinion,
it's just somebody who's willing to do extra legwork and open up their mouth, I guess. Like,
I don't mind that to an extent, but like if we go to the extent of trying to get somebody fired, whether they do or not, is a difference. To me, that's the malicious intent.
Yeah, I don't like the jobs going after, because I work in medical. I do. Like I worked in long-term care. I did the things. I got all the things that I was supposed to get to work where I was working at the time. But I think that like, because there's kids, like even if you don't agree politically, like for me, for you, I would not want you to lose your job, because for me, even if I really thought that, like, I don't know though. We say that, but like we don't know until we're in that situation. And I feel like I fuck up by saying like, well, if I was in your, but I've never been in your situation, don't know how I would react.
I think that a lot of people see injustice too, and imbalance in like the justice system as well. Not to say that I'm the justice system. I do not see myself as judge, jury, executioner, because again, the employer can come back and say, I don't agree with you, or just ignore me. They don't. I don't have like a power over companies that do not wish to do the things they want to do.
Now, but again, some of your content, the only people that I've seen you dox.
But I'm sorry, I didn't hear the first part. One more time.
Like, unless I missed something in your content, obviously I didn't watch your whole page. Okay. But I watched a lot. I went through. Okay. You were coming on, so I'm like, okay, who are you? And I was making the promo.
Yeah.
A lot of
I noticed you used my thirst trap, by the way.
I had to use your thirst trap because you had to drop in right after text. Like, let's see if you're really about it. Because look who it is. It's like,
thanks for looking out. I appreciate it.
I wasn't gonna put shit in there that made you look stupid. Like, I'm not gonna, no. Like, I wanted it to be a mutual respect thing. Like, I feel like a lot of us use the term like, we need to sit at the table, we need to reach across the aisle, but no one's doing it. And I see all these problems on my algorithm, and your name keeps getting brought up. So I'm like, okay, why don't we go talk to that dude then? Like, why are we listening to this person?
Yeah, I was going to say.
I didn't see it until it happened to me, and I can own that. No one sees shit until it happens to you, and you can own it. I also saw some things going through your and other people's content where I was like, that didn't have anything to do. Like, people assume that that's all you guys put out.
Right. It's not.
I'm going through your content, and I'm like, I didn't fucking know that. Is he for real? And I'm like Googling it, and I'm like, this is what's keeping us from. Like, it's not like you're just dropping a video every day ruining somebody's fucking life.
No, they ruin their own lives. But the point I was going to make too is that oh shoot, never mind, I lost it.
We're all gonna lose
something
it.
You said
so
sparked
awkward, right? Like, what are we doing?
Something you said sparked something. But gosh, I can't remember. But it isn't always about like finding out who this person is and getting them to lose their job, whatever.
Okay, I think people want accountability for you guys doxing the wrong nurse at the wrong place of employment. But here's the thing.
But I didn't do that.
But he didn't do that. His friend did that. Like, just like you guys blame me for shit with Tex and Tex for shit with me. And if you go back through Savannah's video, she owned it. She owned that it was the wrong place. She owned that she gave the wrong information out. And it's like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you don't like their content, stop fucking watching it. If you don't like getting doxxed with them, block them. Like, I used to just block all of y'all when I got a new account. I'm like, block. Okay, going about my business. Yeah. And then I stay off everybody's radar. Like, that's, I don't agree with what you do, but I love the fact that you are that passionate about it for the reasons that you are passionate about it. And I don't think that the right gets to see why you do.
Yeah. The thing is you're not really at risk if you're not a shitty person too. Cause like the thing is by the time it gets to me, it's because like it has been, sent so many times because it's a big deal. Like I told Tex the other day, actually I think it was today. I said, I looked into him at a certain point earlier this year. I did. And I was like, he's fine. He's clean. Like, we don't agree on stuff, but like the reason I was looking into him was because
I passed the Danish check. That's good.
Wait, did you guys look into me? There's some sketch shit, but I own it. So
people probably have. I haven't personally looked into you, but I looked into Tex because it was there was this live that I saw where another user was talking. Huh?
He was a bioterrorist.
Well, that wasn't the reason. I did see that. That wasn't that. But the problem is that not problem. The thing was that I saw this live where people were talking about having COVID, lying about it, and going to work anyway. And so I was looking into the people in that live to see.
That's kind of fucked up. I still keep my kids home if they have a fever. If you're sick, you need to stay the hell at home.
Sure, yeah.
I'm sorry, but everyone that's been the rule.
Did I say that?
Sure. No, you didn't say that.
Okay.
You were laughing about it, but that's not like, what am I going to do about it? He can laugh about it all he wants. But the person who said that, I looked into see and I go, oh, dude doesn't have a job. He's lying. So like there's nothing there. There was just nothing there at all. Then I looked into him and I saw all the stuff about January 6th. And I went, oh, here's better content I could do. I personally didn't do anything to him. I just covered the story. I just followed it along because I thought it was really interesting, to be quite honest. I even said, I'm not going to drop names, right?
Oh, I know the one that was live with him I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, so he probably hates me, but I didn't do anything to him. Again, I thought his story was interesting.
I think hate is such a strong word. Like, I feel like if you were to see this live, or the problem is that nobody wants to have the uncomfortable conversations. It's easier just to
especially if you did a video about him, especially if you did a series about him, and but it was interesting. It was very interesting. I followed it.
Regardless of how you looked at it, it was interesting. Even from my side, it was interesting. As a conservative, it was interesting.
It's interesting to see how that's also like legally done, because then I learned a lot about the not only the justice system in watching his case, but also that like the people that were at the Capitol, pretty much it's a slap on the wrist. And like the one I'm talking about was
still currently being like. But see, I believe that there was two stories going on. I feel like there was the extreme right that was there, and also just like the regular run-of-the-mill right that shows up to all the things, right? Because we saw a shift. You saw like a big group leave, and then a group decide like YOLO.
I have said before, just because someone was at the Capitol doesn't mean they've broken a law. You're looking for people who actually assaulted a police officer or infiltrated the doors. And so the person we're talking about falls into that category. So I was kind of just watching to see what will happen. Like, this is there's evidence to it. There's video to it. So I was really interested in watching. And then by the end of it, well, not by the end, but like from this person's, I don't want to give it away, but too much. But the most recent court cases, it's like probation at most, which I would assume would have been a lot worse. But like that's just kind of, it was interesting, and then kind of for me disappointing.
Steele Walker, can you go back to Misfits Live? Like, we're actually having discussions. You guys are making up nicknames and
go be a piece of shit somewhere else.
Over there.
Nobody cares about you here, bro.
I don't mind. Yeah, I don't care. I get it a lot.
I mind very much about that one. That's just
thank you.
A thing. So he'll just stay gone.
I was gonna say to compliment somebody from your side. One of the first videos I saw of somebody holding their own accountable on the right was this user Jesse Mulligan. I saw a video he did. Then Mulligan, he's in your live usually, Texan. Yeah. Maybe I'm saying his last name right.
Yeah.
I gotta see the face.
I think he's a decent. I think he's a decent guy. Yeah, I think he's a decent guy. I saw him make a video about someone who was, using a bunch of racist language to make fun of somebody that Jesse didn't like anyway. But he said, no, that's not acceptable. And that doesn't make it to my For You page. That doesn't make it on a stitch. So that was like, I saw that accidentally running into it, and so hey, good for you.
Because TikTok is like designed to be divisive and only show the worst. Like the worst of the worst parts about like all Republicans don't believe in race issues. And I'm like, I do.
I will say it has been
there's an in-proportionate balance of things. I do. Yeah. So I'm not Republican anymore. So now I'm a fake. Now I'm a phony because I'm here with you. I'm a phony. Or I'm just trying to figure out what the hell's going on. And this is the easiest way to do it.
There's the polarization so extreme that one of the people that I won't say the name, but one of the people that has basically called you guys now Democrats or whatever. She specifically, my first line with her.
Go ahead. Are you talking about like the purple dreadlock girl?
The purple dreadlock girl. Yeah, no, why are you aligning with him?
I'm sorry, but it is.
What?
It's allowed because it's just like an embarrassment to everybody. Like that. It is like I'm even a conspiracy theorist, and I'm like, girl, shut up.
What she did specifically is she stitched one of my videos where I was going after a pedophile, and like I would assume that everyone on this app is cool with me holding a pedophile accountable. So it's the weirdest thing to get a stitch from her being like, well, if you really wanted to hold pedophiles accountable, you would go after Joe Biden. And I'm like, what am I supposed to? What do you like? What do you? Why can't? No, I can't do that. There's nothing I can do about like political figures. What are you expecting? And I remember just thinking like, how bizarre. Like it's still not good enough. Like even though I'm literally going after somebody who is like while I'm going after him, coming into my comments, still targeting his target, like still like talking about the target, the victim, until we had to finally contact the person's parole officer, get them arrested. You have her complaining, going, no, you're not doing anything about the cabal or whatever. And I go, but I don't like. Look, what you perceive to be happening, this like underground pizza rape thing of kids. If it existed, what am I supposed to do about it? You can't even prove where it is or what's going on. How am I supposed to do that? Like, it's and other people too will say, if you want to make
that are right in front of our fucking faces,
right? Like these ones are bad. These ones are everyone who does this is bad. How about that? And we're seeing someone do it. Why can't we agree on this? When I did a video, actually,
it's like pedophilia and like sexual offenders and sexual deviancy. And we're not. And once again, once I went down that rabbit hole of that human being, like I was floored. I've never seen, like I've gone after people for less. Way less. And I've gone hard and I've doxed. And like all y'all in the comment section right now that are so mad that he's in here, y'all were like, yes, queen. Yes, queen. Mic drop. Get him, Kat. So it's like, if there's one thing that we can all agree on, and it should be holding that accountable. And when you see it, not looking at political affiliation,
but I think that's
this human being is making a sexual fantasy out of a situation with his girlfriend in front of children. And then you have this video that's like, oh my God, it's just nasty talk. Stop. I've been married for 5 years. Me and my husband sneak around to go do the
never do we go there. Right. Never.
That's what floored me, in all honesty.
You're saying
this is where for Kat and I, this is where we end up getting a lot of hate because we don't have any issues calling out people on the right. I mean, we ran off one of the largest conservative cop TikTokers.
Conservative
exposing 3.5 million followers, and he has yet to return to the app since October. Because he was a sex predator, not children, but for adults. And so for me, it's like
using TikTok to get out there and get these women to his event, overcharge them for the event because ooh, I'm sexy. No, you're gross.
I remember that guy. He's
gone now. He ain't never come back.
Good. See, I obviously I support that. But like the problem is when you have somebody who is so like you saw all the videos that I made about this person, and it's not just like one person accusing him of one thing. It's just like you don't even need to look at my page. You could look at the other women's pages, and a lot of these women, not a lot, but some of these women came from. Oh, sorry.
No, you.
Oh, good.
You guys are fine. I was just trying to be polite because I had to walk away for just a hot.
Oh, sure.
I'm a sleeping child. I'm so sorry.
You're fine. You have all this like clear evidence of what this guy is up to, and you have some people who are like, no, I'm still on his side. And I'm like, what part of this? What part? But then again, the type of person he is to manipulate people, is to, this guy would go into MRA groups, men's right activist groups, and play to the women in that group, play to their sensitivity to him, and, go for that vulnerability. Because, the things that this guy's, and I DM'd you something that like, I can't even really go into publicly, text.
Right.
But like, cause there's a lot of just like horrible stuff there.
Wait, are you talking about something that somebody else sent you to send to him?
Yes.
I've never been more disgusted in my life.
Yeah.
And then I wound up going on a video that was made today, and I sent the screenshot to text to send to you guys because it was crazy to me because a comment was made today that kind of fits that narrative.
Mm,
on a video that somebody made about him.
mm,
And it very much so fits like the sexualization of that
yeah.
and all
Yeah.
the rest of it. And I'm like, I can't ignore this. I don't care if they're
Mm.
like, they're
You
docs.
know what?
I can't ignore it because there's too much that makes it make sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it was. I watched the live that one of these other people posted. I watched the live that Texas live, I think it was, where Tex revealed that this person was a Democrat, and like you see this shift in the chat where they go, he is, and then suddenly it mattered. Suddenly, like this, like there was no backing him, which like, and I'll say I know both sides will get do that, but like I didn't realize that was the code word. Like I just casually dropped that as well, and then that has been their theme of like, yeah, well, Republican Democrats can be friends. I'm like, no, the point is, why do you get along? Like, why do you guys get along? It's troublesome. And if you search that hashtag, there's a video of Misfit defending him. Literally,
Yeah.
there's one
I mean,
of
like
him defending him.
mutual hate can bring you together, right? So like your mutual disdain for the same person that I disdain is a plus.
Mhm.
Now, we've talked about other issues besides just that. We've gone through a couple policy things. We've gone through,
Sure.
COVID, whatever. But at the end of the day, like I can't control what you do. And
No.
just because I'm like, I don't really agree with that, doesn't mean that I'm right. It doesn't mean that
Right.
you're right. Nobody knows who's right.
Yeah.
But one thing that I feel like we can all kind of collectively agree on is that people who touch kids
Right.
are the exception to the fucking rule.
Right. Fuck them.
XYZ, now you're going to get all of us. And
Sure.
I really wanted to show people that, like, no matter what the little, and I feel like a lot of things are being over dramatized. Like,
Sure.
Danish is responsible for hundreds and thousands of
Sure.
conservatives for wanting to end their lives. Okay, cool. Conservatives have only ever been the ones that have put me in the hospital,
Yeah.
that have made me want to end my life, that have had me crying to tags at 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. Conservatives called my phone until 4 in the morning telling me to die of my health problem. I have never received anything hateful in a harassing manner from anybody on the left
Yeah.
in my personal experience. So why would I not be open to having dialogue?
Yeah. And that's your personal experience too. Like that doesn't mean that is factual, that only conservatives do that. But the point is like there's no way to say, like Danish does this, or like only anybody who does this is wrong. But this also this thing that I hear too is like, yeah, I wanted to end my life because Danish made this video about me. The dishonesty from that is really harmful, because beyond just like, yeah, I get it. You want to like
the other reasons that you want to end your life, where Danish was the cherry on top of it.
Or honestly, that they're not going to end their life, that they just want all the harassment to stop or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And so they're using this as the way out. But the thing they're accusing me of is so heinous. They don't understand, like, it's not okay to say that. It's you can't just say things like that because you want sympathy, because you're actually accusing someone of something.
I think the good news is somebody's already kind of cleared up for you. That you can just use your video of like.
Yeah, Misfit's been proving all of us right. He really is handy. Really is. Like, I mean, he got us, everybody, to admit that, like, I don't know if you missed this. It's not me pushing information or anything.
That's deplatforming.
He literally admitted that they went to Modern Warriors Reservation. Oh. They fully admitted that. Fully. And got it on a gotcha moment. Like, Kat said that we went there and we totally didn't go there. We called there.
Yeah. There was
that's not different.
Yeah, there's other just like more disturbing things under the tab into Discord about him that I just like sent straight to him, because I'm like, I can't even put this up.
Yeah.
Like I'm surprised how not too much, because of the people that are in the group. I kind of go like, yeah, they're the type that obsess over things, obsess over people. But to see how much it is, how often it is, and then they go, yeah, well, why did Danish have a mole in that Discord? Because of this. Because you do this.
I've had
because I need to be safe.
Groups, so
yeah, that the Troll Toll guy that commented earlier, I had a fake conservative account that was best buddies with him, because I needed to, because he's so obsessed with me. I need to know if something's going on, he's the one that's going to know. So like,
Kind of feel you on that.
and so when he had made a fake liberal account, but then confided in me that he did it to my fake conservative account. He came into.
I can't stop.
No, listen. Yeah, there's a video for this. He came into my live after I was swatted, and tried to frame Misfit. Yeah, and I was weirded out with his liberal account. So then I just looked at the account, and I'm just like, why are you trying to frame him? I know who you are.
He wants the glory for getting you swatted.
I think either that or he wanted me to wrongfully accuse him. I think he wanted to set me up. But I knew that was
all the claim for Modern Warrior getting viral on TikTok. And I was like, that was some girl that he screwed up. And like, how did that get so viral? Like, and I'm going to say something real insensitive, and I don't care. I don't care as a girl. You got played. It sucks. It hurts. We're going to cry about it. We're going to be mad about it. We're going to do all the things. We don't need to put this all out on social media when we already know that there's a dangerous narrative being spread about this person and a lot of false things, because that group accused him of being.
Yeah,
I was
with
there.
No evidence. Yeah,
I remember this. I remember this very clearly when he was accused of being that. And now you got this girl who's coming out and like crying, and like, she would have been good if she would have stopped at one, and that's all I'm gonna say. But
yeah,
like we're all capitalizing off of it. Everyone's cherry picking pieces, and they don't understand how dangerous that is. That winds up getting put back out.
Yeah, that shouldn't. That's not that. When that started happening, I was like, that needs to stop. This needs to stop. This is not for this.
That it doesn't
anyway,
get charged with it, not charged with it. One person accuses you of being the most.
That's a serious accusation.
Human beings.
Yeah, I believe that wrongfully accusing someone of that is very, very dangerous, because you're putting anyone
have to serve the sentence that would have been done to the person that you wrongfully accused that of, and that you should have to go on a damn list for lying your ass off.
I mean,
because people like that's the reason that so many pedophiles get away, right? Girls who try rape. That's why it's so hard for women to actually come out and say that they were raped. Like,
I think wrongful accusations hurt real ones. Yeah, that's also why, though, like, if there is a case of that, which is rare, I'm not going to cover it, because I don't also want to like push a stigma that people lie about that, because this is a serious thing. And like, while, you ride that fine line, because you don't want to push a stigma, even because it is not as common. But people will think it is, because that's the thing you made your content on. So I have to be like very aware of that as well. And I am. So like, I was never going to comment on this whole thing happening. I was never going to comment at all, and that was my plan. But
now we're here.
Yeah, now we're here.
Now we're here, and now you're on a conservative.
Yeah, where I'm apparently playing you guys while you're playing me at the same time.
I don't know. It was just really fucked up to see you guys as mutual friends today. Like, I had to take a minute and like step back and be like, "What the fuck is happening?"
In all honesty, I never thought it. I've only been on TikTok like a year and a half. That one, I'd be a mutual with you, and two, I'd be a mutual with Savannah now.
Savannah's the last one that I thought. Because honestly, to me, I was like,
in all honesty, like, for me, even though I'm getting what I am on the right, like, I don't care. I will always put the American people over politics, party.
Bullshit, because we didn't. We didn't when Natalie, I love you. I'm sorry. But bullshit, because we didn't when Natalie was like, hey guys, like, Savannah's over there and she's giving a platform for all these people to talk and tell their stories. And we were like, okay, Natalie, go hang out with. We did. And we have to own that. We have to own that. And we have to own that because we did.
No,
I went over
because of the narrative that was on there.
And I was like, holy fuck. Like, we totally ignored this, and we can blame it on like, well, this person did this and this. Okay,
well, to be fair too, both Savannah and I, when, especially if we don't like somebody, or if we're going up against someone, we hit hard. So it like
Right Here Facts was by far your most approved video, bipartisan. Was your child support, like?
Yeah.
I felt the
Which one?
Deep in my womb lands.
He doesn't even know.
You did a child support video where like.
I do a lot of those.
Guy that wasn't paying his child support.
Kent Brown. Yeah. Sorry if we can't say names. Yeah, that guy's an asshole. I don't even know the political affiliation of the women
Doesn't
that
matter. You make a baby.
it didn't matter to me. It didn't matter to me. I don't know the political affiliation. It doesn't matter. That guy, yeah, that guy had just talked too much. He talked way too much and accidentally like talked about having too much money. When he was threatening to kill me, so he said I could hire hitmen right now. I got money.
This person was threatening, like
Yeah, and I'm like, but the more important part to me was that you have a child support thing coming up where you're going to be arguing that you don't have enough to pay it, and you just said you have enough money for a hitman.
Yeah.
But yeah, the basis of my platform was always to be protecting children. That is where I started against abusers and pedos and groomers. That is where, after I finished comedy, it went into that. After that, it just became every video that went viral. People would send it to me and go,
world.
Yeah, it is a nasty world. It is. And after that, just became anything that was viral. The thing is, it's hard to cover these pedo stories too, because like it's as a father, it's hard to hear about it.
Yeah.
It's really hard. But it also like makes you feel guilty when you don't do it. If you can do something and you don't do anything.
Something.
Yeah.
Like I remember me and my husband wound up meeting this guy that worked on a podcast that we were involved in. Well, I guess it's not really a podcast. It was a radio show. I don't know if you all know what the radio is. It's what we did before the internet. But we were on I wouldn't call it conspiracy theory, but it was back then. But you got to realize that back then conspiracy wasn't so believed as what it is now. It was just something fun to kind of like, that's cool, like aliens and UFOs and like. But I was talking to him about this and he's like, no, you don't understand how disgusting it is. And I was like, no, I've seen movies. Like I've seen 2020. And he's like, all right, I'm going to show you something. Okay, cool. I'll watch it. And I was like, what am I watching? Like, who did this documentary? He's like, it's not a documentary. You're actually watching a live auction right now. This is happening right now. And I was like, and I do. Like, I have nightmares about that still, but I needed to see that because that is happening. And I feel like out of everything that we covered tonight, whether we agree, we disagree on politics and doxing and what's doxing and what's whatever, I want to keep an open line of communication with you because we do still stand for the same overall thing. And those things should not be clouded anymore by politics. People who are harming people who are harming children, people who are wanting to do things in front of children and saying that like these are things that need to be addressed. And they make more of an impact if we're able to be like, fuck politics, we're going to come at you from all sides, every side. Like that is a war that everyone should want to fight. And that's a big one that everybody should be in agreement on.
Agreed. I absolutely agree. And I think that there are people that unfortunately make this app dangerous for other people. And a lot of people have been labeling me as that person. And I think it's kind of nice to be able to see what danger actually looks like side by side and be like, look, this is the kind of thing I cover. This is the kind of thing I go after. Like I don't, you being anti-vax and not wanting to take the vaccine, I don't like it, but that's not content for me. My audience doesn't.
Come at me.
Okay,
it's just not interesting. Plus, like,
I have a hypothetical situation. Tex is not vaxxed. You are vaxxed.
Okay.
And you guys have to go take down a pedophile together. Does a vaccine matter in that exact moment?
No.
The vaccine doesn't matter in this moment. Like what I'm saying is like, again, but I don't. It doesn't have to be an extreme situation. Like at this point, like if he's not going to get it. There's nothing for me there to dive into unless you wanted to sit down and have conversation with the vaccine. I honestly don't want to. But
I don't either.
Vaccinated, but like is low key scared to get vaccinated. So I fit in a different category.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be MMR vaccine. I can't get a couple of the flu vaccines because I have. So I am one of those weirdos.
But like in a situation like that, I would say like whatever you
guys do it.
But I would say whatever your primary care doctor says, because I'm not medical. So when I say like I want people to be vaccinated, that's a general statement of like assuming people can. But if like,
but a lot of people are like, my doctor says I shouldn't, even though we all know that their doctor really isn't saying that.
I know, but like at the same time, like if I can't say do something different than what your doctor says. All I could say is, do what your doctor says. and so anyway, but besides that one thing that's constant is that pedophile's bad. Also, people who are taking this, app and trying to physically harm people, is also very bad.
Yeah, like
Now, I'm
paying
not.
people to go and harm people when they have
Mm.
like text proof that y'all are trying to pay people to come and hurt somebody.
Yeah, the craziest thing I've seen
My
the
house
past couple
will be
days.
out sooner or later, guys. Just be patient. Fuck. You ain't
Yeah,
gotta send people after me. Jesus.
the craziest thing though has not been, so in the past couple days. The craziest thing for me to witness though was texts correcting people on how to say my name. I'm just like what
You
is
know what? Fuck him for taking the credit.
happening right
No,
now?
I'm done. I'm done, Tex. Because now you're like,
Why?
oh, Danish thinks it's so great that I say his name correctly. Only because I corrected you 19 times before then.
That's
I was like,
bizarre.
it's
I don't know
Danish.
what you're
I
talking
never
about.
knew that's how you said your name, but we were all doing it to each other. Because I would be
Yeah,
like, well, like Danish, and he's like, it's Danish. Say it.
it was
That
adorable
was
because he's like, now he's calling you, Danish or pastry. Isn't that a racism? And I'm like, well, I mean, the fact that he knows how to say my name and purposely says it wrong, yes, that is like
Now
denying
listen,
it.
low-key, I feel you on that because he found out my last name and he was like, I mean, I don't know her last name. It's like all weird to pronounce. And I'm like, I'm sorry, is it not Americanized enough for you? Why?
Well,
Because
Well, if
my
it makes you
father
feel
is
any better, I'm
immigrant
Texas
from
based,
Ireland,
you
and
know.
that's why it's a little funny. What's the problem with it? I'm sorry,
yeah,
it's not Jones.
And together
I
we're
do,
a kolache.
I do like
Kind of like
your
the clock.
nickname. I do like the nickname he gave you though. Texas pastry is pretty funny. I'll give him that. That is pretty funny.
He just calls me Kit Kat. Like it's not
And
even
together
original. It's not even
together
good.
Donish and I are what do they call it? Kolache.
Kolache. Together, y'all are kolache. Y'all wait for the photo montage of our vacation in the Poconos.
So
We need to do like we need to get kolaches one time and just duet each other, just fucking eat kolaches.
It's just really weird. This is the first time that we've ever engaged with each other all together. Like I was freaking out. Y'all have only texted. Or not even texted, like within the app.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. Like here. Let me clarify this up
real quick though. Do you know why Aunt Karen was in the group chat though? Like that's kind of weird.
What group chat?
Allegedly, maybe this was something that Misfit started all on his own, right? It's very possible.
What group chat though?
Allegedly, Aunt Karen was in a big group chat with Misfit Patriot and like Alyssa Mulatto and like all those characters that were coming at her.
I don't know. I haven't never heard anything about it, so I don't know about that.
I've only heard it from my side, but I've never seen proof. Like now that all the discords are dropping, I'm like, she's not in there though.
I don't. Yeah, I don't. I mean, I'm looking at Discord. She's not in the Discord. I can tell you that for sure.
No, she's an Instagram chat.
I don't know anything about the Instagram chat, but
I just feel like that was intentionally like fucking set up though to make throw everybody off.
So
you got to consider your source too.
Lord.
No, this is
I don't want to be friends with the rape guy anymore. I just want to walk away from this vaccine rape shit for 5
minutes. This is the gotcha moment from Misfit Patriot, so we'll have to address it. Yes, I still do believe, but you guys keep getting it wrong. Vaccine mandates is what I said, not vaccine.
Like being forced, being forced point where like they held you down and forced you to be vaccinated. Right. It would be
not even that. I mean, it's a form of coercion, right? And that's what I do believe. You can disagree, and I'm absolutely okay with it.
I disagree, and that's
it. I know that like all the rape stories came up. That's not what I was referring to by any means, because not all rape is forcible. But yes, I do personally believe that vaccine mandates are equal to rape, and that's my belief. So there's your gotcha moment. I guess you didn't get me because I do stand firm by that.
I saw so many videos of Misfit going like, "Don't forget to tell him this. Don't forget to tell him this," and it's just sort of like I don't know where the message. I don't know where the message got lost. That like we are aware we disagree on things. We are aware we have different opinions. We are fully aware of this.
Kolaches are yummy.
Like I disagree. Yeah, I disagree with him on that. But that's not going to take away from what's actually happening here. That's not going to take away from the point that. All of us are even talking because we feel there's a bigger threat.
Yes.
That doesn't change that. We already know we don't like. Someone was saying like,
totally understand this.
I know they were like, "Are you going to change your opinions on OnlyFans because he has an OnlyFans?" Right. No, none of us are going to change our convictions.
Yeah,
But we're
right.
going
I
to meet in
saw
the
that
middle
video where
for
she
a
said,
bigger issue.
Kat, tell me how you feel about OnlyFans. But I'm just like I'm not here because I think these people agree with me on anything. I'm not here for that. I'm aware. So it's weird because it's such an obvious sort of like desperate attempt to like somehow throw a wrench into this. But like, yeah, I don't agree with what Tex said. Yeah,
Totally okay.
I find it kind of horrifying, but at the same time, like I'm not like I'm still going to be here and talk to him. And yeah, I don't agree with you on OnlyFans because I'm on there too. But like,
Right. But I also like I don't think that
But
anything
low key, she's gonna
horrible.
go subscribe to you after this show, just so you know.
I made it expensive just because
Yeah,
I'm
first
honestly.
subscription. My first subscription, my only subscription is going to be that would be low key kind of funny.
I will say, I raised the price just after starting to go after these guys just because I know how freaking like out of their mind they are, and I'm like, they're gonna end up posting it everywhere. So I raised my price just to like avoid them. So,
That's solid. And
huh?
look, like I was a dancer. I was a dancer for 9 years. So I'm not going and telling people like you're horrible. You're evil for doing it.
Yeah, I don't
Saying
care
like
that.
from my perspective of like
Yeah.
because that's a word. My perspective, just my experience, like it's my opinion that was formulated on my experience. I also have a shit ton of friends that have OnlyFans pages. I have helped some of them like, girl, you're not posting the right shit. Like I'm against this, but like do it right, right? Like I was a dancer for 9 years. I can give you some tips.
Yeah.
Right.
Just because I don't think
my
it's right
mind.
doesn't mean that I think that someone should be harmed or die. I don't think that you're a horrible person because of OnlyFans. Like we all buy into pornography. We all buy into like the trafficking problems by the TV that we watch and the products that we buy. It's just my personal opinion on it based on my experience of being a dancer for 9 years. Like, and that was my career. Like the biggest job that I ever had was doing that. So I'm just telling my side of the story of what I experienced doing that. It doesn't mean that it's what everybody experienced. I don't hate people for it.
Yeah.
I'm also a lot of things how I feel. But if I still like you, even though you have an OnlyFans, it means that I actually like you, not what you bring to the table, right? Like not what you give me.
Not what I dropped on the table. No, I honestly, it blows my mind that anybody even would want to subscribe to that. The fact that anyone does is why I have it. Because I'm just like, oh, really? Like,
he's just like, are you guys fucking kidding me?
Text is out. Text is like, I'm out.
His phone must have died. I mean, we are at 2 hours. They may have kicked. Yeah, they may have kicked out like the main host.
Oh, I see.
It's possible. We are at 2 hours. But I want Tex to come back before we like wrap it up. All I know is that like, go lay down, honey. I'm happy that you were able to do this. I was super nervous.
Oh, my pleasure.
I was calling Tex and I'm like,
yeah, the nervous thing is what confuses me.
I don't know if you're like a total douche canoe leftist, and you don't know if I'm a total douche canoe Republican because we only know each other's content, right?
Yeah.
And the only person I will say this, Misfit Patriot is true. He's true to his content. He is the same ignorant, egotistical bastard offline that he is online. I'll just say Tex because Tex has already owned up that he was on FaceTime while we did, the little phone call between us. I've never had a dude talk to me like that I wasn't dating. And it was weird to me. Like it kind of took me back because he was just like, well, what I'm going to need you to do. But he wants to run around and talk about like I'm protecting a DV victim. But you're not being open-minded to all DV victims and all DV victims' experiences. Like there are some that stay in that mindset, and that's okay. And I hate to call it a victim mindset, but you know what mindset I'm talking about. Calling them a victim like degrades it, and that's not what I'm trying to do. There are people who stay like in a more of an emotional state, right? Where it affects them emotionally all the time. And then there's a group who are like, fuck you, I'm fine, and I got this shit. I fit into that group. So because I fit into a group where I'm not crying on the internet, where I'm not overly exploiting my experience, you can still talk to me like that and openly support somebody who looks a camera dead in the eyes and says from the bottom of my heart and censors themselves. enough to say unalive. That does not come out of anybody's mouth naturally. When you're
Right.
talking on the phone, you don't say unalive.
It comes out
You
to
say that online to not get taken down, right?
right. It comes out of Misfit's friend's mouth, apparently, to people
Now
he's
a
dating.
narrative is being spun that he's letting be spun that like this is reactive abuse from this person. I've never talked to this human being off the app a day in my life. Never. Not one single time. I had an issue with one of his friends, and that was it. And me and that person have since like come together. We talked it out. Like, I think that she made up a lot of things in her head about me, and I made up a lot of things in my head about her because there's a paranoia that goes around social media. We squashed it. We moved on, and Misfit won't let it go. So now this poor girl is trying to like, she took accountability for that. Do you know how hard that was for her to do?
I would imagine.
Full accountability. Like, I was paranoid. I was this. And like, she was open and she was honest about it. And then you got this dude that won't let it go. And normally I would lash out at her for what he was doing. And I'm not doing that. Me and that girl have texted back and forth. Like, hey, you doing okay? She's like, hey, are you feeling okay? I know that your health gets affected by stress. And I'm like, girl, this ain't stress. This is hilarious as fuck. Because it is to me. She was my only stress.
Yeah.
Because I was friends with her in real life. I loved her at one point. I cared about her very deeply. That's why there was emotional distress there. With this situation, there's no emotional distress. And you are currently live right now. And I don't care if I burn account after account to the ground. When I read the text message, I needed to read one text message. That's all I needed. You are joking with a girl. And we can get into the dominatrix lifestyle, which I am also very against. And everybody knows that. And they call me vanilla. But there's a difference between keeping it between yourself. But when you start bringing children into your role play.
Yeah.
Let me be clear, too. Let me be clear. The person that he was talking to was in no way supportive of that. That's the person. I mean, that person got that to me, right? Like that person's just like, oh my God. Like in
but
that.
I've also been the girl that's played along, so I don't want to judge her. You know what I mean? Because you're
No,
comfortable that it's like a dude.
logically, the logical thing is to play along and get it to somebody else and go help. And that,
like even as a strong girl, I'll admit that like I've played along with shit that I didn't want to play along with, that I didn't like, and made me uncomfortable because I felt like I needed to.
Out of fear, or that's not
insecurity.
Again,
I think it's more insecurity.
Yeah, but then that person may be. But then that person might be afraid to tell someone now about this thing that they just saw because they participated and go, well, now I can't. Now because I participated, now I can't. But they didn't participate. They're just trying to like, not anger the person who just said something terrifying. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I know that person, and I know that they got it to someone, like they got it to us, and they obviously weren't comfortable with it at all. No human being should be. Like, it is a crazy thing to say. Again, that's like he's the only one in this scenario who doesn't have kids, though. So like maybe he doesn't. I'm not excusing it, but what I'm saying is like,
baby.
He lied. Wait, the baby?
Wait, what?
Okay.
I'm from right TikTok. Okay, I don't watch y'all. Help me.
So this all started because he made a video about Savannah, and what he said in this video was he was angry about this video Savannah made about this guy who's wiping eyebrows off of women.
This started with him going after Savannah first.
And he told his audience, you know what to do. And suddenly her page was getting raided. Like people go on her page just calling her the most horrible things.
That's how I got taken to court. Y'all know what to do.
So I made a video in response, and I said, "Oh, is that how it works? Okay. Well, I see that you're manufacturing rage against her. So let me try the same thing. Hey, my audience, you know what to do." And then he got bombarded to like throw it back at him. But then Savannah was looking at his page, and she just like his pinned video about his dead wife and his kid. He's like, yeah, something about that seems off. But we can't say that.
Am I misconstruing the two people? Because I feel like I'm not, and I don't know if she's in here still. But like if Three Boys, One Mom is still in here, is this the same guy that was like pretending that he was like homeless at like a church with his kids in the back seat and he needed money? Two different guys, right?
No. That's not this. This person had this sob story.
Identical, though. I'm sorry, but they do.
They really? I mean, maybe it was a scam of his. But he for the longest time was running this thing where he was like, I'm a firefighter, and I have a sorry, that comment distracted me.
I'm not in.
No, because I've low key like always kind of loved Runner. Like when she puts her tinfoil hat on and makes fun of us, I'm fucking low key here for it. I'm like, okay, that's funny as shit. I'm here for the trolling shit because it's funny.
Yeah.
Poor Donna. She just totally lost all his train of thought.
Yeah,
Because
I'm sorry.
this is
He went straight to
weird.
OnlyFans.
Like this is our lives. Like we're on TikTok and we're like, we have to make a public statement. And TikTok doesn't give us really that much money, but we have to pretend like we're not important while people are treating us like we're important while telling us that we're not important. And then they want to keep us fighting. And then they want to like look over here. I'm like, oh my God, shut the fuck up.
Crazy mother runner got Donna speechless.
As I was saying, this person lied about
liberal dominatrix shit somewhere. I'm just
this.
kidding. Conservatives that are never mind. I can't win.
This guy basically just lied about having a dead wife to win sympathy from women, and then lied about having a kid. We digging into his Facebook found out that kid is actually his nephew, and so that's why that one video that I posted where it said,
"Guy."
Yeah, where it shows like a message.
It's the same damn guy. I'm gonna have to like confirm it, but like in my head, I really feel like this is the same guy. I gotta send some stuff.
Sure.
Actually, she's my guest tomorrow on my show because I have a spin-off podcast from here that's like just girls and moms that chit chat in the morning. I'm gonna try to put it together, but I really feel like they're the same fucking guy. And there's people in the comment section that are like, definitely the same guy, but I don't know. There's crazy people on the internet, and you have to steer away from the crazy people and the passionate people. You're passionate what you stand for, and even though I don't agree with that, the fact that you're willing to like be swatted and still be like, "Fuck you guys, I'm still here saying what I have to say," like that's admirable, whether I agree with you or not, because that is what makes the change. And you're willing to sit in the middle, and at the end of the day, like
different guy.
You just got a fucking different guy. Are you sure, girl? Come on, this is not.
I think it's a different guy because like he's been running this whole like.
There's just that many crazy people on the fucking internet.
Yeah.
Well, Donish, in all sincerity, I do appreciate you coming on. And,
my pleasure.
You know,
this went way different than what I thought it was gonna go. Yeah, I was really worried. I was like, what if he just comes on and he's like a total douchebag? And I'm like,
no, like even down to my
conversations that we've had, like in DMs and whatnot. I was like, he doesn't seem like that.
Yeah, I honestly think he's a nice guy.
Not bad for an anti-vaxxer,
huh? Not bad for
as long as you'll be around. I mean,
I don't know. All I know is that, like, at the end of the day, you're not like I've been hearing things like he's evil, he's this, he's done this, he's done this. I went through all your content, a good majority of it. I didn't even get my nap today. You have a lot of content. You have a big fucking account. It's a lot to fucking go through. A lot of your stuff to me personally seems very reactive. Now we could break down whether or not I agree with how you reacted, but that's not my place as a human being to tell somebody else how to fucking react.
Sure.
You are extraordinarily passionate in what you believe in.
Yeah.
And that's admirable. Just because I don't believe in the same things as you doesn't mean that I'm not like,
but I think like here's what
you're willing to give it up for everything for your kids and for all kids. And I think that the vast majority of us are kind of just sitting here like, hey, we haven't been paying attention for like a really long time. And now we're all kind of paying attention. So we're going to fight because we're all paying attention.
This really does boil back down to like, you know, on the right, we're Save the Children, and he's Save the Children.
God, can we leave this Save the Children out of it? Because I just feel like it's been bombarded and ruined.
Well, and you know, we're all sitting here wanting to protect the children. Donish has his way of doing it. We have our way of doing it. But at the end of the day, we're still trying to meet the same damn goal. And I think that that's what we don't realize is even on a different political spectrum, at the end of the day, whether it's children or not, we're all wanting our country to prosper. We're all wanting our country to be great. We're all wanting our country to be better than what our kids have. We just have different ways of getting there.
Tex, you want to trigger everybody before we leave?
I don't have a kolache, but sure.
Okay. Raise your hand if you think that Donald Trump serving another 4 years will destroy America.
I hope he doesn't run. I mean, I say this in my lives when all the lefty comes in and talk about Trump. I don't talk about Trump. I stopped talking about Trump January 20th of 2021 when he was no longer in office.
Yeah.
That's
we
when
can
I
have our personal opinions on what we thought he was supposed to be, but the one thing that I do like that came out of it is it shook everybody the fuck up and made everybody start paying attention to politics again.
That's true.
That's where we should have been.
That is true. There are a couple of things that I agree with, and that is true. If anything, he did actually get people far more involved in politics. But also, I will say, from my perspective, from the one time like he took our side, so to speak, and to see how he pushes forward without listening to anyone, it was kind of satisfying, I will say. And that was when he was implementing the red flag laws.
Yes.
Because I'm not anti-gun. I have guns. But at the same time, I do believe in reasonable control. And one of them is red flag. Like if somebody's red flags, yeah, he shouldn't have one, or he shouldn't have one. So watching him do that, and then seeing I watched a video of him like sitting there with other Republicans, and they're like, no, we don't want to do that. And he just doesn't listen. And he goes, we're doing it. We'll make that happen. And that's happening. And I'm like, that is kind of, I kind of do like, I get that now. I get that kind of satisfaction of like, he's just not listening and he's pushing through. And that's annoying when he does that. But when he does it for you, it's kind of funny.
Like we had the crazy one, right? And then we had like a repeat, and now we're in that. But I feel like between the disruption from this one and the letdown from this one, because I'm going to be honest with you, I was like, okay, well, like it's Joe Biden. He did it for 4 years. Like we're going to be good. We're going to be good.
I didn't think that. I never thought that it was going to be good. I just thought.
I really thought that we were going to be okay. And then I'm like, this is not good either. So
I wasn't happy under Obama.
Like I can kind of like be together on that going into 2024 and be a little bit smarter, and 2022, because a lot of people think that 2024 is the only time that you vote. Is every 4 years.
Frustrating because
that's the only voting that matters.
Yeah, it's kind of frustrating because I feel like in large, like
you divided people. Every president has divided people, and every person divides people. No, I'm responding to that.
But I mean, like, even with the comment. But I mean, like, even with like presidents, there hasn't really like I wasn't happy under Obama. I wasn't happy under Trump. I'm not happy under Biden. Like, these are not like the choices I wanted. I can't get past the amount of drone strikes or the amount of immigration that Obama would not allow. Like that does bug me. And whether or not
Republicans tend to take the stories, right? I'll say this out loud because they do. Like, and I pay attention to immigration maybe a little bit more than most because I am first generation American. We can agree with, like, I can agree with Republicans that like there is a way to do it. There is a process of doing it. Yeah, absolutely agree with you. And then you can agree with the left when they're like, hey, but you're not doing that though. So like, what are we supposed to do with that? Yeah. And then you get the extreme left and the extreme right with their opinions. Like they're ripping babies out of, calm the fuck down. Calm all the way down. Like there is a big problem and we do need to fix it. But at the same time, like your parents busted their ass to get you the life that you have, and that's why you respect.
Oh, they remind me of that often. Don't worry about that. Yeah, they tell me all the time.
Up until the day that he died was like American privilege. You with your American privilege and your beautiful blue eyes and your beautiful white skin, and you don't know shit about shit. Because like when my dad immigrated over here, he hung out with the Black community a lot because there were a lot of signs on doors that say Irish need not apply, as it was for a lot of immigrants that came over here. Like during that time, I'm not trying to say that like I'm not one of those girls. It's like Irish people were slaves like Black people. No. They were enslaved at one point, but not like Black people. Stop trying to compare because that's not going to work. Yeah. But there was like a mutual hangout. Like they don't like you, they don't like me, they don't like us, whatever. But that did happen, and it happened to a lot of people, and I'm going to be the Republican that says it still happens today. And it does. Do I think it happens as big as what I see some people making it out to be? No. But do I do think that it happens? Yes. And do I do think that those situations where it legitimately happens are ignored because you have people over here and people over here making an issue out of it? Yes,
It's poignant that you're pointing this out, by the way, on St. Patrick's
Do
Day.
I think that you got swatted worse than Savannah for a reason? Absolutely, I do.
I mean, come on, and they knew it was going to happen too.
And multiple reasons, though. You're a man.
Yeah.
You're a man.
And I'm the only Middle Eastern person in this
and you're Middle
town.
Eastern, right?
I live in a rural area. Everyone already knows they've doxed me to hell, so I don't really need to be
I've
that
watched it
secretive.
happen at the airport where I don't get pulled out.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody else who's Middle Eastern in front of me gets pulled out. So don't tell me that it doesn't exist, because it does in fact exist. Just like men are treated shittier than women.
Yeah.
Like there's groups. People are going to group people, but it's the same as conservatives. Like, it's the Holocaust. They're grouping us by our political. We're doing the same thing to the left, guys.
Yeah.
I'm sure the left feel the same way. All of us would rat on Helen Keller. All of us would have doxed Helen Keller by now. We all need to do better. Okay.
Donis would have been the first.
I would have got there first.
I don't know. I feel like
fair, I would have got there first. I would have.
He's like, Helen Keller who?
The first on that one, Tax. I'm sorry, but
so I operate differently than Lundini, who is more right wing. But him and I are friends.
Really?
What's that?
You want to say that one more time?
I said him and I are friends.
You and the great Landini.
Yes.
Who is like the conservative god of TikTok. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. We disagree on some things, but I've helped him on more than one occasion. And he helped me actually a while back, because there was this veteran who this troll account was telling him to unalive himself. He's like, give in to your PTSD or whatever. So I was trying to help hold that person accountable, which brought a lot of conservatives over to my page.
Was that Jeremy Lou that did that?
The guy with
but he was the guy crying.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was
my
Jeremy
video's
Lou.
still up too. I defended him, and I actually lashed out against some of the.
Jeremy Lou's account went through the roof because that video is.
You were one of the left creators that came in for Jam and Lou?
Yes, and I got shit for that.
Thank you for that.
I got shit for that.
Did you know that pretty much every large creator that followed Jam and Lou then in turn, once the clout ended, unfollowed Jam and Lou?
Unfollowed him.
Just saying.
Wow.
Yeah, because I'm going to say what I'm going to say. It doesn't matter if you're right or left. We love veterans when it appeals to us, right? We love the elderly when it appeals to us, and we all kind of do it. But I feel like both sides, they want the same fucking thing. We really do all want the same thing. We're just going to nitpick on how to get there. Yeah. And obviously our elected officials cannot fucking figure it out on both.
They're not there for us.
Sides. And honestly, the more that I look into it, there's the Republican Party gets fucked.
It's hard for me to believe that our elected officials are there for us. It is very hard.
They're not there for us, but that's why people fucking Jess should have been running. Get in the goddamn seat. Be transparent. Be real with us. Get out here. Talk to us. Be with us. And she's bashed the guy that I support for governor, that I supported. Ooh, first time saying that publicly, that I supported for governor. But I'm open to listening to that side. It just makes me really bad that she was bullied out of a seat. I get really worked up about that, because you busted your butt. It takes a lot to run, and it takes a lot to put into it. It's a lot of stress on your family, and it's a lot of stress on everything else. And you didn't even beat her. You didn't fucking beat her. I want to make that clear. Yeah. Nobody beat Mother Runner in that race. So if you took gratification out of being a piece of shit that made a bunch of phone calls because you sit on your ass all day long and you don't actually do anything, cool story, but you couldn't beat her fairly, could you?
What comment? See, now, so basically everybody that's in the commenting
for that comment. Yeah, no, anybody that agrees with it. So we all came together. You guys may not like what Danish had to say and the method in which he does things, but I hope that you guys can at least see why he's doing what he's doing, the passion behind what he's doing, whether you believe it to be a passionate thing or not. And then all kind of come together and be like, hey, he stands for this. We stand for this. And we met in the middle, even though it was over drama. And I hate that it's being called drama. I do. I had to go to court for this. I lost thousands of dollars for this.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Here's the thing. I've been in the hospital a lot because of this. You can ask Tags. Just because I didn't
believe it.
post it
Right,
doesn't
right, right,
mean
right.
it didn't happen.
I don't post all.
I don't
I
like
don't post all the bad
my
things either.
illness for my gain.
Yeah,
That's
I don't
gross.
post all the horrible things that happen to me either, just because I don't want to embolden people to do it more often. There are a
Right.
lot of stuff I don't post about. I posted the swatting because that was over the top, and I just couldn't I couldn't
Swatting
say
is
anything.
the most dangerous thing that you guys can do to people. And whether you want to believe that like race is a factor or race isn't a factor, or this isn't a factor, and all cops are good or all this, there's bad people. There's good people, there's bad people. It doesn't mean Republican and Democrat. Bad people, good people. That's it.
Yeah.
So now you're going to tell somebody in the height of the biggest thing that we've ever had happen to our country, which is 9/11. Okay.
Sure.
You are going to swat a Middle Eastern man when we are still coming off of that. Nobody knows the difference between Iraq, Iran, and Afghanistan in America because they all have American fucking privilege and they just think everything is true. So I'm going to put you in that situation, and you can literally see how you and Savannah were treated differently.
Yes.
I could see that.
Yes,
I can see that.
I experienced that.
The difference between me and a black woman being pulled over, and to try to ignore that is ridiculous. Now, do I think that it's over dramatized by some people? Yes, and that's a problem. Like, don't over dramatize it, don't under dramatize it. But that's difficult for anybody to do if you're passionate about it.
Yeah,
and I'm learning that now.
And and a lot of language that's used is very divisive too. Like, I actually corrected Lundini on this. I was kind of nervous to do it because I didn't want to start problems. But he made this video about he doxed someone for saying ACAB, and Lundini made a video saying ACAB means all cops are bad, and you know that who do you call when you need something? And I was like, dude, Lundini, it's not what it means, man. So I made a video really quick saying it doesn't mean that they're bad. All cops are bastards. It means that they're bastardized within the institution. The institution needs to be improved. It's not the individual. It's the institution.
And
but that's
that
very
was
confusing.
explained to me later because I'm a part of a group. I'm actually.
But ACAB sounds more like it hurts more, and that's why they say it.
Right. Just like a lot of our shit sounds super aggressive. I was. I'm actually in a Facebook group.
Thank you to the comments, by the way. I'm reading the nice comments. Thank you, everyone.
A lot of people in here. I don't know if I want to say it out loud. So one of my situations that happened to me actually happened to me from a police officer. So like I have trauma-related issues with police. So when I started joining those groups and I learned what some of the acronyms actually meant from the actual victims, actual people, and not what other people have turned it into be, I was like, yeah, I kind of feel you on that. Well, okay, like now I kind of
the messaging
agree
is
with you fully to go full-fledged like and start burning shit down. Like I'm not cool with that. Like I don't like violence.
No.
But as somebody that literally like had that happen to them, like very horrifically, and years of therapy and years of trauma, was from a regular police officer that wanted to appear to be involved in the community, which is what we're doing right now. Humanize the badge. And that is a good thing. And we should humanize the badge, but we also need to be very, very open to the fact that there are predators that take certain jobs for certain reasons. Priests, cops, school teachers. They take it because they're racist. They take it because they're pedophiles. There are just evil people out there, and it's not how they vote.
Sure. Yeah, and they're everywhere. And that's a huge issue. I'm with you. I don't have any argument against that. I think that the messaging is often I mean, there's little details I would change, but no, in general,
we want the same thing, right?
Yeah, I agree that we all want the same thing at the end, and I think that people use not fueled. What's the word I'm looking for? More aggressive messaging just to like either get the point across or just be a dick. But Tex
likes being a dick, and then I swoop in, and then like I try to heal the world with what he broke.
Yeah,
well, that's because I do like chaos, and I do like to burn shit down.
Chaos is fun. Chaos is fun. Chaos is fun. But like you're not going to get
the meat and fucking potatoes. Tex like. That's the kind of like, and men are wired differently than women. They are, whether we want to admit it or not, they're wired differently. None is no more superior. We're wired differently. It's like a lot of the times, like Tex is like, I'm going to go in and like fucking burn it to the ground. And I'm like, okay, I'm cool with that. but what can we actually, why?
Right.
Why do you want to
Right. What's the point?
What are we trying to push here? We could have gone, Kat, let someone else talk. Numerous people have talked. I'm sorry that my voice
Kat,
is
you can talk. Kat, talk.
Tracy says that I should let other people talk.
No, finish what you're saying.
For fuck's sakes. No, because I just feel like I hate it. You know what I mean? Like, I just hate the social media part of it. And I love that you were willing to come on. And I get that we've all made stupid ass videos against each other. But at the end of the day, like, all of us are wrong and all of us are right.
Mm-hmm.
And whoever is leading us at any given time doesn't give a fuck about us. Right. And you know that. Trump didn't give a fuck
all
about
of them do.
Your
local politicians, I mean.
JFK didn't give a fuck about you. Roosevelt didn't give a fuck. You can idolize whoever you want.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the
day, what's scary is that local elections are being not local, but like school board elections are being
freedom. You can't be telling jokes like that to the left because sometimes they don't. I've heard they get mad at them.
Danish won't.
He just needs a card so that he's not a racist. Because that's how we feel.
That is how we feel.
Some of your people come in so hard that I'm like, well,
my people.
But I have black friends, and like I've dated black people, and they're like, "Oh, you're a black friend." I can't win with you fuckers. I swear to God.
It's fine. The one thing I like to do though, that like to make conservatives, not conservatives like y'all, but like the ones that don't like you guys either right now because you're talking to me. One thing they've accused me of a lot is being a like a cyber terrorist or bioterrorist or something like that. But they don't realize how. But they don't realize they can't use the T word on me. And so like once like they go, Danish is a cyber terrorist, I go, I'm sorry, what did you just call me? And you see this like huge background of no, didn't mean that. I'm so sorry. I mean that you God. It is like it's the one I have the most fun with because they can't.
And he's our co-host. He's gay. He's a gay conservative.
He likes using the gay
got that card
a lot.
He'll yell at people all the time for, he doesn't believe in the masks and whatnot. So he'll yell at people. And then I'm like, aren't you like when they start trimming back, it's like, I'll just pull the gay card. I'm sorry, are you talking to a gay guy this way?
I've got a friend, John Scott. He can get away with anything because he's gay as well. He can get away with saying anything. Like he'll insult the hell out of someone's looks, and I'm just like, man, I could never get away with that. And he's like, I can.
Still in there, even though Danish. I've been trying really hard. It's not in there. The Ants Gay banner isn't in there anymore. Sorry.
Well, let's wrap. We've gone well over our hour time slot.
Oh, sorry.
Well over an hour.
No, don't be sorry. This has been fun.
Don't be sorry. And I would love it, like, if you would be open to coming on again, like, even if you want to, like.
No, I had a terrible time. I'm just kidding. Of course I would. Yeah. Of course I would. Yeah. I'd be happy to. It'd be my pleasure.
I'll see you next week in the Poconos for our amazing Airbnb.
Yes, the Poconos.
Trust Falls. I found stock photos of like two people catching somebody. That's going to be epic.
Is Danish catching us?
I think it's funny that I've noticed that since our exorcist started commenting on some of your walls, it has been driving some people insane. They do not like that at all.
The
one person they hate more than me.
I don't necessarily agree with the methods, right?
I don't.
Obviously, and you might not agree with my.
I know you don't. No, I know you don't. I do. I do. I think that I can
see it. You know what I mean?
For me, it's like more than just
Judaism, and I'm not Jewish, right?
Right.
Like I looked into QAnon, and I'm not like a full. I'm just very interested in people in a whole and how they work and what they think, and I respect each person's personal experience. Yeah. I've been in line when if you were in front of me and I was behind you, you're getting pulled out in line at TSA, and I'm not, and that's fucked up. Because
me too. I've experienced that too.
And I'm first generation American. There's no difference between me and you. So that's fucked up. I see that too. So like
appreciate that.
I'm interested in people in a whole. And I'm not ever gonna judge anybody for how they vote or whatever. Like I want you to let people see who you are instead of what people spin a narrative to be. I'm not going to give my opinion on it. I just wanted people to see a little bit of context behind you on the right that I don't think is being shown.
Yeah. And again, and then like the one thing I want to amplify that has been said before, if any of you believe I'm doing something illegal, nothing is stopping you from reporting me to the proper authorities.
3 hours today trying to find something illegal that you did, and I couldn't. Yeah. Can we all just agree that the aliens need to show up and come get us?
Kat, who's on tomorrow?
Who is on tomorrow? So, my God, it's so late. Tomorrow we have Kat's Chaos Corner, which is more geared towards women and not necessarily political. We have 3 boys, 1 mom, and we are going to play the trailer tonight as we exit out. I also want to reiterate that Kat's Chaos Corner is a spinoff of Freedom Fam, but not necessarily strictly political. I'm just trying to hang out with chicks and hear what they have to say. I'm actually going to hit up Mother Runner when we get off and see if she wants to hit Kat's Corner first before Freedom Fam.
Can you believe if we started an all-male one, like the backlash we would have, Danish?
No, but you should. No,
I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
If you have a girl break off from the podcast and a guy break off, it doesn't.
No, men can't do that.
It's not misogynist. It's a guy's point of view.
No, sure.
No, I know. I'm just.
It works.
I'm teasing.
Yeah, no, I agree. I do really appreciate being brought on. By the way, I really did enjoy all this.
I stayed up late for you.
I stayed up late for you guys.
Yep.
So when is my check coming for following you back?
You said crypto only, right?
I don't know though, because I've been hearing from people that like Bill Gates one time one thought about Bitcoin while he was thinking about JFK. So now I feel like we need to do like some underground currency.
Good job. Yeah. Hey, that's some smart Antifa thinking.
I gotta say,
you're catching on.
And I'm an active member of Antifa right now. So like it's very confusing for me.
Yeah. Well,
having an identity crisis. I'll let you know how to pay me. Maybe we'll just meet in the parking lot, sketchy parking lot underneath the toilet lid.
Yeah, as long as your bank accepts Soros checks, we're good.
Well, yeah, all banks accept Soros checks. Come on.
Well, with that said, y'all have a good night, and we will catch you at Kat's Corner tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. Central Time.
Thanks you a lot for coming on.
Thank you. Appreciate it.